Wait, I need to double check this before I make this joke. I was supposed to do it before the show.
I'm going to build the anticipation. This is going to be the greatest joke
And
ever.
I'll edit it all out of the podcast. Lost my brush somewhere. Christchurch, New Zealand, what is good? Ooh, oh, I found it. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Thank you all so much for coming to the show. It is a delight to be here, to be back in your lovely city, in your lovely country. Does New Zealand do like states or regions or anything? Regions. So what region are we in? Canterbury. Okay, like the tails. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I did see that because, what a day I've had today. Let's just run through what went down. Started it in Lake Tekapo because we had been doing some hikes and stuff. We went and looked at the lake, and there was that like cool bridge, that old school church, and then we went up to like the big lookout, the observatory thing, where there's the cafe with really overpriced, not good food that we did not eat. But we took a bunch of pictures and stuff, and then we were making our drive. We stopped in a very little cute town that has the little bakery called Fairly, right? Yeah. We were already planning to do it, and there was a listener who I'm assuming is in the crowd. Yeah. That had recommended, hey, you should go to this place. And I was like, oh, it's already on the list because it looks tasty. We went there. Absolutely fantastic. There was an old man playing an accordion, and my daughter lost her mind. First time hearing an accordion, and she could have stayed there forever. But we were then driving, and just like everything throughout the day was taking just like a little longer than we thought it was. And we are now getting to the point where we're set to arrive at our hotel and everything. What we had to do, I had to drop off the rental car. I had to drop it off before 6 o'clock because that's when the place closed. And it was like at the airport car rental thing. If I didn't do that, I was gonna have to pay $200 in a fine, but it's 200 New Zealand dollars, so it's like 55 cents, but still like, you know, I could buy a candy bar, so I didn't want to do that. But I didn't realize until like partway through the drive, really like drop Kelly and the baby off, unload the car in the hotel room and everything, then I'm going. Get in the car driving like, oh crap, I have to fill up gas. I fill up gas. You guys do gas differently here? There's like, I go to like tap my credit card at the little pay station and it's like, go inside. And I was like, for what? That's only a thing if you're paying with cash in America. So I go inside. This lady working at the till must have thought I was ridiculous because I'm rushing because I got to get there by 6. And the ETA before I have this gas adventure said my ETA was going to be 5:51. And I was like, I don't like this. So I'm all frantically figuring out. She's explaining the process. Here's what's wild. You go, and maybe, I don't know if this is all the places or just the one I went. You go, and then they asked me like, are you filling up? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, do you need to like run my card now? And she was like, no, just like, I'll get it to the one you're at, stall 5, and then you can pay after. You could just steal the gas. You could steal the gas. Like I could fill up my car and then just drive away without paying. You guys are so trusting and nice here. It's ridiculous. Then I'm going, I get in the car, and then of course the ETA says I'm going to get to the car rental thing at exactly 6. And I was like, that's not great. That's not what we want. But I end up going, and thankfully it drops down to like 5:58. I get to the car rental thing like at 5:59. They're like closing up and stuff. They're like, you're dropping off a car? I was like, yeah. We do the whole thing. They're like, great, you're good to go. Do you need a ride to the airport? I was like, no, I'm just gonna get an Uber back to my hotel. And then he was like, okay, cool. You just have to go outside because we're closing the gate. And I was like, oh yeah, I was gonna stand outside anyway. I take one step out of the premises and he like shuts the gate, padlocks it, chains it up, all this. I was like, oh, if I was 1 second late, I would have been stuck out here with a car having to pay $200, New Zealand still. But all of that. Then I am calling an Uber from the airport to get here because if you look at the website, it said the show, it just said 7 o'clock. Now, the key thing, you might not know, but usually I don't have to buy tickets to my own show. That was true in this case, so I didn't have what you all had, which is a cute little ticket that says, doors at 7, show at 8. My brain the whole time is like, the show's at 7. And it's already 6:10. I gotta go. We gotta do sound check, whatever. So Kelly's here with the baby, setting up. We've got the team where we've got merch and front of house and the guests and like all this stuff. And I'm freaking out, like trying to get it all good. Like, let's do sound check, whatever. Like it's 6:40 and then Kelly's leaving because the baby has to go to sleep because she's a baby. So she's got to do that, but she's got to make a Woolworths run to get food and obviously bricks because the bricks promotion is going on. And that's the most important thing about getting stuff at the grocery store right now. But got to do all of that. And then right after she leaves, one of the folks helping on the team was like, oh, hey, the show's at 8. And I was like, the show's at 8? So we do all this rushing, which like we still needed to drop the car off, but we didn't need the like get everything ready for the show situation. So then just like huge bit of stress relief after that, which was really nice. That allowed me enough time to go back to the hotel where I'm staying at, undisclosed location, but it is within a walking distance, so I could help with the baby in bedtime. And I was also able to do my hair because that was one of the things where I was like, I'm going to make the sacrifice for the good of the family and everything. I won't do my hair before the show. We can save that time and do everything else we got to do. Once I figured out the show was an hour later, I was like, ooh, you know what's back on the menu? But I went back to help the baby. Some haters might say that I went back to do my hair and also help the baby. But genuinely, I went back to help with the baby and then also do my hair. I was fully prepared for it to be the first ever show where I wear a hat, but alas, I was able to do the hair to give the people what they want. Did that, came back, got ready, and now we're here at the show. Woo! I'm excited for all the podcast listeners listening after the fact to be like, shut up, talk about the books. I don't care that you were stressed. I'm here with my free podcast. So what we're doing today is we're going to be covering 2 chapters from The House of Hades, the 4th book in the Heroes of Olympus series. Very fun chapters, a lot of fun stuff going on. And of course, when I'm on this journey, I'm never on this journey alone. I'm always joined by a very special guest. And this is a very special occasion because we've got a local guest you may have heard on the podcast. I was looking for folks in the area because Kelly's watching the baby. We don't have any babysitters here in Christchurch, New Zealand, unfortunately. So Kelly's watching the baby, needed a guest, didn't know anyone. Then I was able to, through the power of the internet and us happening to be in Australia at the same time, meet tonight's guest, Christchurch's own Stella Cheersmith. Make some noise! Hello, hello! Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
I'm very well, thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me on the pod.
Thank you for bringing in the local reference. I'm happy to have like a good local vibe so that if I say anything whack about the city or the region or the country, you can vibe check me. Or the fun flip side, if you use cool lingo that I'm like, I haven't heard this on an episode of Flight of the Conchords, what was that? Then we can have a fun little local international chat.
I can also already correct some of your pronunciation.
Please, yeah, what did I mess up? You lay it on me.
I heard a bit of a giggle from backstage when you said Lake.
Oh, I called it Lake Tekapo. Is that not? My apologies. What is it?
It's Lake Tekapo.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
Most people, New Zealanders, would still say Tekapo.
Okay.
Because like we've just sort of had this stupid white pronunciation ingrained in us.
Well,
but
that's the hard thing is that it's not just like in America where you have like Louisville, Kentucky, and it's like, oh, it's not Louisville, it's Louisville. When you mess up pronunciations here, it also feels like you're being a little bit racist, and it really sucks because it's like I'm trying to do the best that I can, and I really want to respect everyone, but I'm like, should I say Kia ora? I feel like I should just say hello.
I feel like you definitely get a free pass, one, because you're trying, but also because you're American.
Okay, cool.
New Zealanders who still mispronounce Māori names need to make an effort.
Yeah, that feels right to me. So what we're going to be doing, though, is talking about most of Chapter 20. We did do like a tiny little bit of Chapter 20 in the Brisbane show. I promise it was nothing important. It's just the part where it's like, Frank knows what he has to do, and he walks outside. That's like all we did. Don't worry. But before we get into it, since it's your first time on the show, what is your history with the Percy Jackson and/or Heroes of Olympus books?
That's a great question, and I might have a slightly long answer. I'm sorry.
Oh no, on a podcast?
My first introduction to Percy Jackson, much to my chagrin, was seeing the movie trailer. When I was like 10 years old, the movie was about to come out, and I was like, whoa, that looks cool. And luckily, I did not watch the movie first because it would have been bad, I think. I've got my hands on the book. I did get the movie tie-in cover, unfortunately, and it's still at my house, but we move on. And I read all of the Percy Jackson books, and then I read all of the Heroes of Olympus books as they came out. And a couple things to know about me is when I was a kid, I was a competitive swimmer. So I loved swimming and I loved the water. And so when I was reading these books, I was like, felt this really deep connection with Percy, particularly. And then the other thing is that while I was reading these books, my hometown, Christchurch, where we are, was experiencing a lot of really big earthquakes and aftershocks that basically went throughout all of my teenage years. And so it was quite a strange experience to be reading about particularly Poseidon, who's the god of both the ocean and also earthquakes, and to sort of like put these two things together that were a huge part of my life, but also very sort of juxtaposing, you know, one thing I loved and one thing I was really very terrified of for good reason, I think. Looking back on it now, I kind of feel like I used the books to process a lot of that.
I love that.
And like, I don't know, I remember feeling quite envious of Percy. I mean, obviously, when you're a kid, you want superpowers and all that. So there was that side of things. But there was also this sort of level where I felt like Percy had someone to blame.
Oh, yeah.
And he had sort of ways to kind of understand and control the situations that he was in. And I felt like I didn't have that at all because I was in the middle of experiencing this huge natural disaster that just made me feel quite powerless.
Sure.
So I sort of didn't realize until recently when I came back to the Percy Jackson books that they'd had kind of a bigger impact on my life than I'd really thought about. I think it's just like a huge testament to Rick that these books he wrote kind of helped a kid on the other side of the world go through her teenagehood and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I feel like if you had told that story to Rick Riordan, he would love it. I think
I hope so.
He's such a big fan of like people getting whatever they can out of these stories. Yeah. It's always so fun to hear him respect that to such a level that when people kind of ship characters or do the whole trans icon blackjack thing, like he is so happy with the way people interact with his universe that he's like, sure, yeah, great, that sounds awesome. Yeah. So I think that's great. Well, amazing. What a fun, heartfelt way to start this fun adventure where Frank kills a bunch of cows. So we're going to pick this one up where basically Frank had decided to go out. He's got Hazel's sword. He has morphed his backpack back into quiver and bow form.
I love that it can do that. Out.
It's pretty cool. It's clearly a thing that Rick thought about in between the Son of Neptune and this book, because it certainly wasn't a thing at all. And that's like, oh yeah. And then they have their justification of like, Leo showed Frank how to do it. Like, okay, Rick, in the 6 months between writing your last one and this one. Narrator Frank opens this section with, quote, "The plan had 3 phases: dangerous, really dangerous, and insanely dangerous."
Reading this, I was like, that's funny. But then reading the whole chapter, I was like, that's kind of true. Like, it's a wild plan.
A wild plan, and the true testament of a wild plan where part of the plan is, now we'll figure it out.
Yep. And he kind of does.
He does.
Owns it.
Frank returns to the area from before. There's no monsters around, so he uses Hazel's spatha to remove some of the cobblestones from the ground, and those green spiky tendrils start emerging. He hears a catableps moo in the distance, and then more join in and proceed towards Frank. Frank chops off a big chunk of the roots, and then he ties them into his belt loop despite the acid, burny stingingness he's using it to lure out all of the monsters. He eventually has himself a glowing poisonous lasso, and I didn't know at the time if this was just flavor text or if he was actually going to start lassoing the cows.
That would have been cool.
Would have been cool. Spoiler alert. He doesn't end up doing it. I think it's just like a matter of speech, a figure of speech.
I'm sort of picturing
how
like
it works.
like Wonder Woman, but it's kind of green and
instead of glowing gold. Yeah. Now, some angry cow monsters approach. I wrote in my notes, Frank notches an arrow, but I'm utilizing the very legal international British English PDF, and it says he knocked an arrow. Is that the way?
Okay, it's so funny you bring it up because I did not think that was correct. And when I was reading Son of Neptune, it says it a bunch of times. And the first time it said it, I was like, that's a weird typo. It's notches an arrow. And then it said it again and again and again. And I was like, okay, I need to Google this. And apparently it is knocks an arrow.
All over or just English?
I don't know.
English. So, oh, wow. Okay, the internet says it is often confused with the word notch.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But
I've been wrong my whole life.
Me too. I think notch is potentially a different part of the arrow or the bow.
It also could just
I
be a
don't
thing
know.
where notch is like a word that we say, but the more we say notch, the less it sounds like a word.
Yeah.
It's a word that you more often say, so you take a word that's similar and you put it towards that. Oh, wow. Wild.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought this was a British English thing. But then now here's a question, because I learned in Australia that they just kind of do British English sometimes, American English other times. Is that also how it goes here?
Kind of. I personally subscribe to British English mostly.
Okay.
Sorry. But
That's what it seemed like in Australia as well, because they call aluminum aluminium, and they
Yes.
love to say flavor and color and favourite and all
we
that.
don't, we don't say it like that.
I
We
know
just
you don't say
spell
it.
like
Right. They're like, we love having extra letters. Please let me tire my fingers out of my keyboard. I need more U's. Yeah. You're all in the pockets of big newspaper getting the extra letters.
Yeah.
So he's got this poisonous glowing lasso, and then some angry cow monsters approach. He he knocks an arrow, and he feels a twinge of guilt because these monsters aren't really vicious, but he does remind himself that Hazel is passed out because of them. So he's like, all right, look, I still got to defeat these things. So let
I
me do
really
it.
like when Rick doesn't shy away from those sort of complex things in the books.
Yeah.
You know, he does it so often, and I think it's really cool because, especially for a kid's book, you might expect it to be like all good versus evil, and it's just not that.
No.
And it makes it more interesting.
It does, and I think that's what's made the Heroes of Olympus series really fun, is that it's less and less afraid to talk about some of the bigger things. And also every single character's just going through it. They're
Yeah.
just going
Oh
through
my
it. They
God.
really are. They're having a tough time all
Yeah.
around. So he feels this twinge of guilt, reminds himself, look, Hazel's passed out because of them, and he fires away. He readies a second arrow, but now the whole group of cows is basically on top of him. So he turns into a lion, he roars, he leaps over a second group of approaching monsters, and he was worried that the roots wouldn't still smell when he changed form, because he explains, and I'm glad he explained this because I don't think he ever explained it before, that whatever he is wearing or holding just kind of like morphs into the animal form. And I was like, oh, I never questioned this. This is what I assumed it was, but it is nice to have the clarification that he's not, I don't know, like the Hulk where it's like, I'm different, but my pants are here, but they're bigger and they haven't ripped and they're still purple. Like, it's nice that
Luckily, he doesn't have to like shed his clothes and
I know, yeah, like,
he's like, I'm gonna change back, but I'll be over there, guys.
right, or he doesn't
My
like
change of clothes.
he doesn't like have to turn into a bird and then fly out of his shirt sleeve before he goes, like he's plomped all down.
Oh, that would be quite funny.
It would be funny, but it would be a hassle.
I feel like it would make this whole fight really difficult.
Completely. And then you got to go back to wherever you left your stuff.
Yeah.
Awful. You'd have to be like Spider-Man, where he like hides backpacks all over the city so he can just
And then
change
they
into
get
clothes.
stolen.
Yeah. What a struggle. So the roots, it's all good. They still smell, even though it's morphed into his lion form. He turns down a street that is filled with tourists. He continues onward, and he wonders what these tourists could see through the mist of a lion and a bunch of cows going around. Maybe it's like a cat being chased by a dog. And then narrator Frank says, quote, people cursed Frank in about 12 different languages. Gelato cones went flying. A woman spilled a stack of carnival masks. One dude toppled into the canal. And the physical humor of like, it's the most Italian and also just like the most slapstick, like guy falling into canal rules. That's great. I'm all for it.
It's like a scene from Luca, you know, the Pixar. Lovely movie.
Yes. Quality
Gorgeous
film.
animation.
Oh, yeah.
Makes me just long to be in Italy.
It's really good. Yeah. It's some good
yeah.
stuff. How far is Italy from here? It's got to be quite the flight.
Don't even ask.
So Frank looks back and sees that he has over 20 cows tailing him, but he wants more. He wants every monster in town to be following him. So he finds a clear area, he turns back into a human, and then he uses Hazel's sword to slice up some of the cow beasts. He waits until the group begins to bunch up near him, and then he taunts them into following him into the canal as he changes into a dolphin and takes a dip. So he's really stretching the bounds of all of his shape-shifting abilities here.
It says here that he pauses to chitter dolphin insults, and I have to wonder what that sounds like.
Oh, I mean, it's got to be the like classic like like kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the episode of SpongeBob where they curse and they use the dolphin stuff instead. I would imagine he's just like saying the same things as that, where they have to.
I feel like you could make that sound really insulting as well.
Oh,
like as a dolphin, you could really.
It's one of those things that, like, no matter what the dolphin is saying, it always sounds like, because it kind of sounds like laughter.
Yeah.
So it just
it's like mean laughter.
Yeah, it's like hyena. Like it just sounds like they're taunting you. So of all the animals to do a taunty thing, to turn into a dolphin to chitter tauntingly at the cows.
It's a good one.
I like it a lot, and I would love to know what exactly he said, but I'll have to get Frank on the pod. Frank hopes that they don't follow him. He's betting either that the cows can't swim or they don't want to go through the gross canal. He lets us know that it's gross. He then makes it to a gondola dock, and he returns to his human form to hack away at some more of the beasts before continuing onward. He then just rinses and repeats this cycle until every single catobleps in town is in one big herd chasing after Frank. He then sees one especially large bridge in town that should work for his plan. It's extra good because it is devoid of tourists. And I think I know the bridge he's talking about. I either have walked across this bridge in the one time I visited Venice, or it was in Spider-Man, the second one, where they go to Venice.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I think so.
I love the Spider-Man movies, so that's really special.
I think they're fantastic. And I love that they went to Italy. I like that they went international. Like, those are great. I'm excited for the new ones.
Same.
Should be really fun. I'm glad that they have returned to practical effects and stuff. I don't know if you saw the videos where he's doing the swinging on a truck
it looks so cool.
Was it in Dublin or
I don't know.
Scotland? Somewhere in Europe where it was it looked really cool.
Yeah.
Maybe Germany? I don't know. Wherever it is, that city's no, I've offended that city and I apologize. Now he turns into an eagle. And he's flying around. This is how he saw this large bridge. So he descends as this eagle and turns back into human form, and he goes to the middle of the bridge. He throws the vines onto the planks of the bridge and yells, "Come on, you want to know what Frank Jong is worth? Come on." Yeah, Frank, you tell him. I feel like you could have said something cooler. He needs to have trash talk practice with Percy.
I feel like he's not that cool.
No,
I love him.
I love him too.
He's a little bit awkward.
Nah, he's a little awkward. He's a little... he never in a million years thought that he was a child of Mars / Aries.
No.
So I get him not having his, war cry. His war cry is...
He's really giving it a go, though.
You want to know what I'm worth? Yeah, look, go for it. You got to go for it. This gets back to my big thesis similarly of there's no such thing as bad dancing. The only bad dancing is not dancing. Just get out there and do it. Yeah, Frank, go out there and hype yourself up. You got to do what you got to do. You'll find cooler things along the way. Go for it. I support it. Now, narrator Frank says the following, quote, "He realized he wasn't just shouting at the monsters. He was venting weeks of fear, rage, and resentment. The voices of Mars and Ares screamed right along with him. The monsters charged. Frank's vision turned red." So, yeah, hyping yourself up, venting out the frustrations, letting it all go. I totally get it. I totally support it.
I had actually forgotten about this when I was rereading. And when it said his vision turned red, I was like, the blessing of Ares?
Yeah. That's a very, nice. I did not pick up on that.
I mean, it sort of becomes a bit more clear later in the page, but he doesn't seem to know about the blessing.
I forgot about it. I feel like...
Well, you read, book 5 a million years ago?
Right. So that was the thing. The only other time we've seen this was Clarice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was she was glowing.
Yeah.
She was,
when she was
other people. She was physically glowing.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, when it described it later, I was like, right, this is a thing. And I couldn't exactly pinpoint. I was like, did Frank do this in book 2? And I forgot. No, this seems so new to him. So look, I completely forgot. Yeah, and as you mentioned, I've only read each book once, and it's been a little bit of time in between.
And you know what? You are getting so much out of every single book.
Yeah.
You are really doing it.
I'm trying. It's a fun way to do it, right? I know there's other podcasts or other whatever shows that go through series where they'll do one book at a time or not as many parts. But I think it's fun to really go through with a fine-tooth comb, because I would rather go through it with a fine-tooth comb once instead of I'd never want to do a re-listen episode. I always want to be doing something new and different. I think the only thing I would maybe do is reread a book and do one episode of just I reread the book and here's anything I found. But as far as doing a thing where it's all right, guy, I finish everything. I'm 85 years old and I'm let's do the lightning thief again. I got great grandchildren to support. Yeah. And I've become Southern. So Frank is fighting. He can't fully recall how it all went down. He can only recall that he just kept changing forms when the noxious gas became too much, because he realized that whenever he would change form, he would kind of get a new, fresh set of air in his lungs. So he kept doing that whenever it seemed like it was too much, which I think is cool. Narrator Frank says, quote, his shape-shifting became so fluid, he could start an attack in human form with his sword and finish as a lion, raking his claws across a catobleps's snout.
That's pretty cool.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Like the comboing of the forms to do the fighting. Awesome stuff.
It feels like Frank's moment. Because,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, he's sort of, in the past, sort of felt awkward in his own skin and not sure how to use his powers. And now he's finally getting to actually understand it and realize his true potential.
Yeah.
Frank.
It's a cool build because early on it is in the Son of Neptune, I don't even know what my power is. Then it is, I don't know how to use my power. And then the whole big like moment in the Son of Neptune is like he finally uses it in the whole Welcome to Canada loser. Like he finally nails it in the heat of the moment, which is cool. Then over the course of Mark of Athena, it's kind of like, oh, cool, Frank turned into this, Frank turned into that, but he still has the embarrassing, I turned into a coy, I panicked thing.
Yeah.
So for him to so smoothly change into different animals, change into the right animal, change into land animal, to sea animal, to sky animal, to all this stuff, you are completely right. Like he is fully at the point where he has harnessed his ability and he is just cooking.
I can, like, picture it. It's, like, cinematic, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This chapter just felt like watching an action film. Like it was just great. I really had a fun time reading it. Yeah. As the fight is going on, Frank realizes, I should be dead. I should not be surviving this. But somehow he persists and he survives. There's just one monster left. So Frank yells to his dads in his brain that he needs a snake, saying that his battle prowess over the course of this fight proves that he is worthy. The last cow then charges and lunges at Frank. He slashes his sword, but instead of it turning into dust, it turns into a python. Ooh. Yeah. A familiar voice goes, well done. And it's Mars. Mars is there wearing his whole military getup and stuff.
The first thing it says is red beret, and I immediately, like, I didn't read the rest, and I was like, French mime? And then I was like, wait, no.
No, the other beret, the floppy war.
The cooler one.
I like that beret is like, it's either French tourist and not actually French people, because I learned this by living in France. They don't wear them there. Like nobody does. It is just like a thing they sell to tourists. So the two berets are tourist in France or war. Yeah. What range a hat has.
That's the full spectrum of like the human experience.
I've either been tricked into buying something because I think it's culturally appropriate, or I'm murdering people for the good of my country. Like, it's wild. So he shows up, and Frank is now kind of coming to grips with everything that just transpired. So he's feeling emotional. He's fighting back tears. Everything is all sinking in. And Mars tells Frank that feeling fear is good. He says anyone who does not feel fear is delusional. And he tells Frank that he faced his fear and he acted like Horatius. He says, this is your bridge, trying to compare it to Horatius, who sacrificed himself on a bridge to give the Romans enough time to fortify the city. And Frank does not agree with this. He thinks that's too high of praise. And he goes, I just needed a snake.
You know what? Speak on it, Frank.
He's always a little too harsh on himself. He's always trying to sell himself short, but like...
It's also... Yeah. It's so funny that he has to go through all of this for one snake.
I know, is there not a pet store in Venice? Is there not?
Are there like sea snakes or I don't know?
Should he have just broken into a zoo? Like, is there not like some weird dude who has a snake? One of the street performers has to be Snake Guy, right? Like, surely.
Like, hop onto Google and find the nearest snake on snake maps.
Scream
I
out,
don't know.
Anybody got a snake? Yeah. Mars agrees, but says that now he has one, and his bravery briefly united the Greek and Roman forms of his dad. All of this is happening, and I never once thought it was going to be the blessing thing. That took me completely by surprise. And Mars says that Frank will need more of this bravery when he faces off against Gia and Gia's forces. So then Mars flickers and turns into Ares, and Ares yells for Frank to hurry. Frank turns into an eagle, grabs the snake, poses for the photo so he can be the image in the Mexican flag, and then leaves. I had to check to make sure. I was like, it's an eagle and a snake, right? And also, as I'm crafting the joke, I'm like, will this land in New Zealand? Because obviously I know that flag because it borders us.
I can't actually say I've ever seen that flag before.
It's a good one. It's green, white, and red, and then you've got it looks like this. Yeah, like it's pretty good.
I think I've just never looked at the little picture in the middle.
Yeah, in the middle, it says, it's got this little thing, the central emblem features an eagle perched on a prickly pear cactus while devouring a serpent. The scene originates from the Aztec legend that guided the founding of their capital, I used to know how to say this when I learned about it in middle school. Okay, well, how would you say it? Tenochtitlan. That feels like the New Zealand way to say it. Because at least it was like Tenochtitlan, but I don't know. I also learned this in middle school in New Jersey, not necessarily the closest to Mexico. I took Spanish class once a week, so not necessarily fluent. So we'll see. But the founding of their capital, now Mexico City, which is a lot easier for me to pronounce. But glad that joke landed here. Huzzah, we've done it. But anyway, Percy Jackson, so he flies off. He looks back, and then he sees a mini mushroom cloud explode on the bridge, and then there's rings of fire that emit outwards. And his dad scream, "No!" And Frank thinks, I don't have time to worry about this. I got to save this for later. I was like, nah, we're going to learn about this the next time he's the narrator, aren't we?
What happened?
I don't know. Like, little mini mushroom cloud, his dad screaming no, I'm not sure.
Did he just explode?
Well, he's already gone. He's like fled the scene. I don't know what the mushroom
No, but
cloud
did
is.
Mars just explode?
I'm not.
I feel like he might have that power.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
His inner turmoil just set off a mini bomb or something.
I am not sure. Really not sure. I don't know if this is something that gets resolved later or if I like missed it or if this is like the aftermath of the blessing. I don't know. We'll see. But Frank is like, I got to worry about that later. And I was like, damn it, Frank.
Hey, Hazel's life is on the line.
That's true. That's true. Frank gets back to Trip Telemus, who says only his friends call him Trip, so I'm calling him Trip because we're buds. He is stoked to see that Frank has a snake, and Frank demands that he heal his friends as soon as possible. Trip asks Frank, how do you know that this snake is going to work? And Frank is just filled with rage. Even though his dad's voices are gone, he's like, this freaking guy, could he just help my girlfriend and this guy who I guess is my friend, but I'm terrified of. He's so pale. He feels angry still. He feels like he is looking down on Trip. He's like, did Trip get smaller? And I was like, Frank is taller. Like immediately I was just like, Frank grew. Like there's no way Trip shrank. It's got to be that Frank has grown. And then we start putting together what is happening. So Frank says that the snake will work because it is a gift from Mars. And as if on cue, the snake slithers over to the chariot. It goes over to the other snake. They boop noses. Adorable.
So cute.
Adorable. Teamwork, the chemistry, it's already there.
That was like their little meet cute.
Yeah.
What if we were snakes and we were turning the wheels on this chariot and
give me the fanfic of them being in a relationship. Yes. Oh, great. Because we already have George and Martha as snakes that are clearly like not romantically interested, unless they are like a bickering old married
I
couple.
do see them as a bickering married couple.
Yeah, could be that, but for like these two snakes to be like in love, oh man. Surely it's on a fan fiction website.
They have a passionate relationship.
I would love it. I would love it. So slithers over, boops the other snake, and then gets to the wheel, and they both start spinning, and it's working. Seems like the chariot is working. It flies up. It's all looking good to go. Frank repeats that Trip should heal his friends, and then Trip says to Frank that he doesn't like his tone. And Frank lunges at him, grabs him by the throat, and says, think about your next words, or instead of beating my sword into a plowshare, I will beat it into your head.
That's a cool line.
That's a cool line. Not necessarily one that Frank might say normally, but as we'll learn, this isn't just regular Frank. This is a new Frank. This is aggro buff Frank. I just had pre-workout Frank. Like, I'm ready to go. So Trip gulps and agrees to help. Frank makes him swear on the river Styx, and he does. And then Trip mortar and pestles together some herbs into a green ball that he places under Hazel's tongue, and she springs back to life, and she doesn't look like she's green anymore. Frank hugs her and says it's all going to be okay. She asks what happened to him, and then he notices what's up. He has grown taller. He's looking more muscular and less pudgy. And narrator Frank says that he has had growth spurts before, but this is just next level stuff. stuff. He says that he can try and fix it, and Hazel asks, why would you do that? You look amazing. And I was like, okay, Hazel, get it, girl, okay, yeah, I see you.
I need to know if Frank's clothes changed or if he's wearing a crop top right now.
Ooh. I like to live in the world because he canonically wears like military type clothes.
Yeah.
I like to think he probably just has like a baggy shirt and baggy cargo pants, and it has now switched to a slim fit shirt and tailored pants.
Yeah.
Like it's just,
Yeah.
I think he's just filling out the clothes differently.
Yeah.
I think that would be
You're
fun.
probably right. But I was like, Frank in a crop top. Maybe that's what Hazel's into.
I would like it. I would love if dudes wearing crop tops was like more of a thing.
It should become
I
more
want
cool.
it to be more of a thing. And it's tough because there are some dudes who do it, but they are professional athletes. Like there's this iconic picture of Jimmy Butler of the NBA, which is a basketball league. Are there?
Wait, no, we don't have basketball here. No one knows about basketball.
I mean, are there any? Oh, wait. Oh, you guys got Steven Adams. What am I talking about? You have the best player. God, I love Steven Adams so much. He's perfect. Oh, you're familiar. But there's this iconic photo of when he was on the Sixers where he like cut one of his shirts and he's like wearing like a crop top. He looks great, but he's a professional athlete. He's got like a 38 pack. Like, of course he looks great. It's a little different if I wear a crop top, but it would be great motivation for me to do sit-ups all the time. If I owned one crop top, I'd be like, well, if I want this shirt to work, I got to look chiseled. So I would love it if it comes back. But yes, if he's rocking a crop top, cool. And it would just be fun if Frank has more issues with his clothes, because we already had the whole saga where his laundry got messed up by
like
Leo.
One change of clothes.
Yeah,
and
like
then he lost
his
it.
whole
And then
laundry bag got sent off with Buford the Flying Table. And now for him to have more clothing issues would be hilarious, I think. So
like, Rick's been just dropping little seeds this whole time. Maybe he's having like a whole wardrobe change and he's about to become like fashionista Frank.
give me the shopping chapter. I love it. I would love the shopping chapter. So Hazel says, you look amazing. Frank goes, I do. And Hazel confirms, reassuring him first that you look good before. You just look great now. She says that he looks more mature and more distinguished. Trip sighs and says, oh, obviously this is the blessing from Mars, and tries to move on to the next steps. What should we do now that we're done here? And Frank reminds him that he still must heal Nico. And narrator Frank says that he points at Nico and bam, he's back to human form. So bam came up in the Australia show. I don't know if it's a reference that would make sense here. Does Emeril Lagasse ring any bells here? The Food Network chef? Nothing. Crickets chirping. I was somewhere earlier today and they were playing Beat Bobby Flay on the TV. Was it at the gas station? I was somewhere and they were playing Beat Bobby Flay. It wasn't on the TV here. Was it on the TV here? Wherever it was, I was stressed at the time, but I've been stressed a lot of today. Oh, I think it was in the lobby. It was in the lobby of the hotel we checked into at an undisclosed location. I think they were playing Beat Bobby Flay, which is a Food Network show. Anyway, Emeril Lagasse is this Italian-American chef whose catchphrase was bam. And when he would like put seasoning in a thing or do something in a pan, he would go bam. And sometimes he would do it multiple times. And his show was in front of a live studio audience and the people would lose their minds. Wow. So I'm pretty sure, this is a very important question I'll have to ask Uncle Rick in the future, but I'm pretty sure the bam is a Emeril Lagasse reference because it was like very like late 2000 aughts, early 2010s.
I was going to ask, when did this happen?
I think like the height of it was like mid 2000s.
Right.
Like I would bet money Emeril Lagasse's got a cookbook called Bam. Emeril Lagasse, Bam, cookbook, enter. Emeril Live is the big thing. Emeril's TV dinners kicking it up a notch with recipes from Emeril Live. So that's a book.
The title
That's
of
the
his
book.
That's way too long.
One of them. He has so many. He does not have one that's just called Bam. Does he have a podcast called Bam? He might. The Bam cast with Emeril? Ooh, hey, Food Network, hit me up. Let's do it. I'll produce it. It'll be great. Okay, anyway, Percy Jackson. So he points at Nico and bam, he turns back into his human form. Nico immediately says, I had the weirdest nightmare about popcorn. And then looks at Frank and goes, why are you taller? Great. No notes from Nico there.
Yeah.
Frank tells Nico everything is fine. He says the Trip was just about to share information with them about how they should survive the House of Hades. And Trip warns that when they arrive, they will be offered a chalice to drink from, which is good. I'm glad the House of Hades is taking the fancy hotel approach where they have a welcome drink. Very fun. So they're going to be offered a chalice to drink from. It will be poisoned, but they must drink it. Like it says it would be poison, and they're like, got it, don't drink it. And Trip's like, no, you have to drink it, because if you don't, you won't be able to traverse the house. Apparently it like links you with the dead, so you need to drink it, but the effects could kill you. So the secret to surviving it is having barley. And when he says barley, he says it with a twinkle in his eyes, since he's the god of farming. He's like, you need the secret ingredient, barley. He instructs them to grab his special barley from the front room where he was growing stuff in like a greenhouse type setting and make it into cakes. They will absorb the worst of the poison so that the drink will affect them, but it will not kill them. So they'll still get this like link to the dead, but they won't be the dead. So should be good.
He doesn't give them a recipe for the cakes.
He doesn't. It's like the technical challenge in the Great British Bake Off,
Figure
where
it
they
out
just print out a
yourself.
piece of paper, make barley cakes. I'm like, all right, thanks, Paul Hollywood. I got to figure out what I'm doing here.
I mean, they don't even know what barley looks like.
It's right. Gosh. Okay. Great British Bake Off, has it made its way down here?
I haven't seen it, but I have heard of it before.
Okay. In the show, basically there's like 3 each week or whatever. I think it's over the weekend. Each episode, they have to do 3 bakes. The first one is the signature, and then the second one is the technical, and then the last one's the showstopper. Yeah. So the first one, like they know what's coming, like in the week leading up to it, they can practice and stuff. The second one, they've no idea, it's a surprise. And then the third one, they also know what it is, but it's like big and grandiose and stuff. The technical challenge, it's like gotten harder as the seasons have gone on, where they give like fewer and fewer descriptions. Sometimes they'll just like give you the ingredients and then just say like, go. Apparently, in the most recent season, they went the next level where they put decoy ingredients on the list. And you were just supposed to know, like, don't put in molasses. Like, are you kidding? Like,
That's really evil.
evil. And this is supposed to be like the happy-go-lucky show where it's like, no one's mad at each other. There's no drama. You win a cake stand and that's it. Like, it's supposed to be the easy, chill, whatever. That's so stressful. Are you kidding me? Like, I've been in test settings and stuff where, you know, you have like a box where you're supposed to use all the things and then, you know, you finish everything and you're like, great. And then there's one thing left and you're like, no. Or like you're doing a puzzle and you're like, where does this piece go? Like, oh, no. You finish a whole set of Legos and then there's like one extra brick and you're like, why are you here? Like, the stress. No. Get back to being more chill, Great British Bake Off.
To be fair, all of the clips I have seen of that are just people being very, very anxious and highly strung.
I guess that's
I feel
like
bad for them.
Well, have you only seen these on social media?
Yeah.
That's what drives clicks.
Yeah.
That's what drives engagement, the stress, the anxiety. Most of the show's like pretty wholesome.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. What I do find funny, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, my favorite thing about the Great British Bake Off is they do it in like this outdoor tent and they do it in the summer, and sometimes there'll be really hot days and like the tent will be really hot and they'll be doing, of course, it'll be ice cream week or something like that. And they're like, the tent's really hot. It's ice cream week. Things are melting, blah, blah, blah. And then they like don't do anything about it as if it's like going to ruin the validity of the sport, where it's like, oh, you got to play it as it lies. It's like, you guys can just do this tomorrow. Yeah. Like, just wait till it's colder. You don't have to do this. Or there was one time where like some of the freezers weren't working and it's like, all right, maybe like don't film the show today. Like, have more freezers. What are you talking about? You don't have to do, like, it's not Survivor. Like, what are we doing? Wild to me. Anyway, Percy Jackson. So, Nico thinks that it is absolutely wild that Hecate would send them all this way just for the information of, hey, go get some barley. Feels like they could have done that elsewhere.
Feels like she could have just told them that, maybe.
Yeah, but...
But she wouldn't.
No, she wouldn't. I mean, it's all about learning and stuff on the way. I also think, like, it does appear that this is special barley. So I don't think they could just roll into Foursquare and...
Whoa.
Right?
Whoa.
And they could...
Mike, have you been to a small New Zealand town?
I have. Do they sell merch with that guy on it? They should sell merch with that guy on it. Does that guy have a name?
He's a New Zealand icon.
Cheeky Charlie? God, they gotta sell Cheeky Charlie merch. He seems great.
He is.
And I'm a bit like, is Foursquare only New Zealand?
I think so.
Okay, is it only in the South Island or is it in the North Island too? North Island as well.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Is it only small towns? Because like, I don't know that I saw it, because we were in Auckland when we first showed up, and I don't think I saw it there. It is in Auckland.
Oh.
Okay. Maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places.
I feel like it's more common in small towns because they only ever have one supermarket and everything's really overpriced. And that's Foursquare.
Yeah.
That's
the prices,
the Foursquare experience.
The only ones we've been to are in like small little touristy towns. And what's funny is we did the Now, I'm probably going to mispronounce this one. The white people name of this mountain is Mount Cook, but it's Aoraki?
Aoraki.
Okay.
I'm not the best
Look, you're better than
pronunciation, but yeah.
Yeah. But we were staying in not Twizzle. It's pronounced a different way, but it's spelled
Twizzle.
Twizzle. Yeah.
That one's...
Something said Twizzle out, and we're like, it's Twizzle. It should be Twizzle.
It's cuter as Twizzle.
Yeah, but Twizzle, I guess there's only one Z, so it's not Twizzle, it's Twizzle. But Twizzle only has one grocery store in town. Just kidding. It has 2 grocery stores in town. It's Foursquare, and they're both across the street from each other. All right, this guy's laughing and nodding. Do you know why why it is that way?
No, I have no idea.
No idea. You?
So there's some place with Countdown's Woolworth's one of the biggest supermarkets. I think it's Hamilton. There's 2 Countdowns across the road.
Okay, so Countdown is a big supermarket, and there's 2 across the street.
There's like 2. I don't even think they're across the road. Maybe it's just a small road between them.
There's like an alley. There's just an alleyway between them.
One of the larger towns. There's like a ton of other supermarkets. These just
It's a big town. There just happen to be 2 huge supermarkets right next to each other.
it's somewhere like in the north half of the North Island.
It just, to me, maybe this is the same thing, but it reeks of like these used to be different grocery stores, and then Foursquare bought the other one, and they were like, well, let's just make a second Foursquare. What's
not?
wild? One of them closes at 8, and the other one closes at 8:30. So I guess one's like, this is the late night Foursquare. Extra cheeky. It's cheekier, Charlie.
If you're like a worker at Foursquare, you want to get the 8 p.m. finish, not the 8:30.
Of course. Yeah, but I don't know. It was funny that they almost share a parking lot. It was wild. It was
That's so
ridiculous.
funny.
It was ridiculous. But yes, we have gone to a couple of Foursquares, and I have noticed, I was like, this feels very expensive, because I've only been to like, we're the only grocery store in town, and I'm like, does this bar of Whitaker's need to be $7.99? I feel like it's going to be cheaper
It
somewhere
can be
else.
up to 10.
Okay.
Whittaker's
I haven't gotten to the
is
worst ones, but
lush. I think New Zealand food prices are just quite high at the moment.
Okay.
But we don't need to talk about that.
what I've only realized in this moment, because I saw that and I was like, $8, but it's 8 New Zealand dollars. So it's like you're paying me to buy it. It's nothing. It's
yeah.
nothing. I should just
What
get
are you
it.
even
I should
complaining
know this.
about?
Yeah, I should just get it. All right. Anyway, Percy Jackson. So Nico thinks it's the wildest of them all this way. Trip wishes them goodbye. He forgives Frank, and he says that the offer is still on the table for Frank to learn about the joys of farming from him. Frank, not jazzed about this offer. He's like,
In
yeah,
another
sure, bud.
life,
Yeah,
Frank was a farmer.
I'll come back. Yeah, you know me. So Trip then flies away on his chariot. Hazel says, well, that was ridiculous. And Nico asks if they can leave. Hazel checks that Frank is really okay and wonders what Trip made him do to save them. And Frank says, oh, I had to kill the rest of the beasts that poisoned you. And she goes, wow, that's really good. You know, there were about half a dozen of them left. So like, that's pretty good. He goes, no, I had to kill all the beasts. And Nico and Hazel are just absolutely gobsmacked. And Frank thinks, oh yeah, they just put together that I probably killed 200 to 300 cows.
That is unbelievable.
That's so many more than I thought reading it. That's so many.
Yeah.
Like, we're way past 30 to 40 feral hogs. Like 200 to 300 poisonous cows is absurd.
Yeah.
That's so many. That makes sense of why he had to just like keep doing it and lose track.
I mean, yeah, there's sort of like, it sort of skips through that whole part of the book. But
the fact that there's 300 of them.
well, at one point it says he like doubles back and then finds the end of the cow trail.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I mean, I don't know how big Venice is, but I guess they were just throughout the streets.
Snaking all around. I don't know. So he did a lot. So when he says that, he is afraid that they might laugh, thinking he is saying something that's completely ridiculous. And they're like, surely you didn't do that. But instead, they just seem to understand and believe him. So the book ends the chapter with the following quote: Hazel kissed his cheek. She had to stand on her tiptoes to do it now. Her eyes were incredibly sad, as if she realized something had changed in Frank, something much more important than the physical growth spurt. Frank knew it too. He would never be the same. He just wasn't sure if that was a good thing. Well, Nico said, breaking the tension, does anyone know what barley looks like? And that's the end of chapter 20.
You know, I feel like it's rare when Nico is the one to have the little quip.
Yes.
He's usually so serious.
Very rare, but I guess he has to deal with the, oh, guy's moving in on my sister. Like, I gotta be the gruffly older brother.
True.
Or I guess younger, because Hazel's so old. They're both so old. They're both so old.
They're like the same age, right?
Yeah, who knows? But I have retitled this chapter, I Become Mad Cow's Disease.
Whoa.
What have you retitled chapter
I
20?
retitled this in honor of a chapter in The Last Olympian. I just called it Frank Gets Jacked.
That's really good.
Yeah.
What is it? Clarice gets jacked?
No, it's Blackjack Gets Jacked.
Blackjack gets jacked.
And
yeah.
he doesn't get buff. he gets
It's
stolen.
Oh, those.
But Frank does literally get jacked in this chapter.
But that makes it good because then if that was the chapter you'd read, it'd be like, oh, Frank gets stolen. I've been tricked by this word before. No. Alrighty. So that is the end of this chapter. That's the end of this portion of the episode. If you're listening to the podcast after the fact, live here, we're going to break for intermission, but let's all now here say goodbye to the podcast people.
Goodbye, podcast.
Hello and welcome to the House of Headlines Shubio edition. I'm here in the Shubio. I am surrounded by all sorts of knickknacks and things that I will be pick-packing before my tour. But before any of that, let's give some updates about the podcast. There is stuff coming down the road, so let me tell you about what's ahead. And stuff about this episode. Come along with me. I did mention the tour. That is, at least for some cities, the most pressing. So I first want to mention that I will be on tour both in person and virtually because there is going to be one of the shows in April that is streamed. So the stuff that's coming up very soon, tomorrow, if you're listening to this the day it comes out, I will be doing a live show in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I will be joined by Emma Sherjarko and Michael Harley, who you may have heard on my previous podcast, Potterless, and some other things that I've done with each of them, but they are going to be joining me as we cover part of the Percy Jackson and the Greek Gods book. We're going to be covering the Hera and the Hades sections, which will be fun. What I need to do, because I've done this at a couple of different live shows and I have the audio from it and just hasn't made its way into the feed yet. I was thinking about making these episodes later in time. I should find the audio and just put them up as Patreon bonus episodes because they're ready to go. And, the bonus episode element can be listen to this years early. So if you are in or near Albuquerque, New Mexico, that's going to be a really fun show. And then after that, I will be in Berkeley, California. I'm going to be in Boise, Idaho, and then I'll be in Denver, Colorado. Then a couple weeks will go by, and then it will be in Atlanta, Georgia. That will be live streamed. That's with Ashley Latimer. That's covering chapters 35 and 36 of the House of Hades, which I know are very important. And then we'll be doing shows in Charlotte and Raleigh after that. You can get tickets to all of these shows, including the stream, and that stream comes with a 7-day replay. So even if April 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern is not a good day or time for you, that's okay, because you have 7 days after that to watch the replay of the stream. You can get tickets to everything at thenewolympian.com/live, and patrons get 20% off tickets to the live stream show. One update about what you've heard so far in the episode is that I mentioned Foursquare and Cheeky Charlie and hoping that there would be some sort of Cheeky Charlie merch. I'm happy to let you all know that I am the proud owner of a Cheeky Charlie hat. When we were in Auckland, the Foursquare nearest to our hotel sold hats for Foursquare, and they got the little Cheeky Charlie face on them, and I wear it proudly all the time. And it was cool that I could get it at the store. I picked up a peanut slab and a hat. It was wonderful. As far as other podcast stuff, I have new merch coming. I've been working with Robert from the Damn Media page on a new merch t-shirt collab. I believe the plan is to announce the release in a few weeks. I was thinking we might announce it at the live stream live show, but what I'm going to do is put the design up for patrons. So if you join the Patreon, you'll be able to see what that design looks like. And then also the pin that I had teased the design of, that is going to arrive just in time for me to bring it on this tour in April. And then I'm going to try to ship a box of that to the people who do my online merch sales so that you don't have to just be at one of these live shows to be able to get that pin. But if you want to see what that pin design is, you can also join the Patreon. I'm trying to do more sneak peeky type stuff on the Patreon. So you can head on over there, and I do these things for all tiers. So it doesn't matter if you're at the lowest tier or the highest tier, you can get access to those little merch sneak peeks. And speaking of Patreon sneak peeks, I have been working with an intern for the past couple of weeks named Sophie, and Sophie is working with me on some logistics stuff. And one of the logistic things is a listener survey. I'm trying to do a new survey. I've never really done that on my own for the New Olympian. I've just kind of done like informal stuff here and there, but I want to actually get a sense of what everyone likes to hear in the episodes, what people like at live shows, whether it's in person or listening to them. And I'm going to do kind of like a test drive of the survey for patrons just to make sure everything is looking good. And then when that seems like everything's all in order and the questions make sense and the wording is all good, I will mention it in a future mid-roll break. But if you want to be effectively a TNO listener survey beta tester, head on over, join the Patreon, because I'm going to be posting something there in the near future once I get the go-ahead from Sophie that everything is working with the survey. But I'm really excited because I want to make sure what I am putting forth for all of you is the podcast that you most want to hear or the live show that you most want to see/hear on the podcast. Now, I've mentioned the Patreon a couple times, so let's give a shout out to the folks who've joined most recently. So shout out to our newest God Tier patron, Christopher Ketchens, and shout out to our newest Demigod Tier patrons, Bella Rose, Jordan S., Ellie's really late birthday present, and Australia's Mohawk Pigeon. One note about the patron who is Australia's Mohawk Pigeon. If you were at any point in time a Potterless patron and then you have joined the TNO Patreon, I don't get a notification that you've done that because technically you're not new. So if you're in that boat and I've never announced your joining of the TNO Patreon, DM me. That is exactly what Australia's Mohawk Pigeon did, and here we are. But thank you for all of your support. May Hermes bless you that if you planned and booked a live tour where you're taking only flights and no trains or cars, because it seems like that would be a fun thing to do to visit a part of the world that you haven't done a lot of shows in before. And then there's a big TSA related thing that happens in between you setting all of this up and then the actual tour happening. I hope that God of Travelers is really looking out for you. 5 flights, please let them all go well. No, 6 flights. Okay. 6 flights, please let them all go well. If you're all caught up in the news Olympian and you are looking for some new content to consume, you're in luck because I make a whole bunch of stuff, and it's not just podcasts. One of the things that I guess I should say did now, because we finished the first arc, was a D&D live stream show that I did with Emma Sherjarko, who will be performing with me at the Albuquerque, New Mexico show on the 7th. And some other fine podcasters like Beth Eyre, who you've heard on this podcast, and Gabrielle Urbina, who you have heard on Potterless and other things that I've done. We all made a D&D live stream of a 5e campaign called 20 to Midnight, where we were heroes racing against the clock. I was a bard. It was super fun. And the main first arc is complete. You can go and watch the replays of all the stuff on our YouTube page, which you can find by searching for @20 to Midnight. I would highly suggest you subscribe to us as well, because we're close to getting 1,000 subscribers, which allows us to actually receive the payment from ads that are on the videos that we don't have control over. And if you join our Patreon, you also will get access to a bunch of bonus videos as well if you really like it. But that is 20 to Midnight, D&D stream stuff. Had a really good time making it, and I think you'll have a good time listening to / watching it. Now, unless you're listening on Patreon where you get access to ad-free episodes, you're going to hear words from a few sponsors and make it feasible for me to be a full-time podcaster. Some of those ads will be read by me, and others of them won't be. The ones that aren't read by me are inserted locally. So if you live in Argentina, don't be surprised if you hear an ad in Spanish. But once those ads are complete, we'll get back into this episode of the New Olympian.
Hope you all had a good intermission. I missed you all so dearly. Let's conclude what we're covering in this episode, which is Chapter 21, which is called Annabeth, but we will retitle it. So, I did this again. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Never mind. Cool. So I take notes on the Notes app because it can join back and forth between my phone and my computer. So if I'm like reading at home or if I'm like reading on the go, because I have my very legal PDF on my phone as well, if I need to go back and forth or whatever. And for the Brisbane show, there was part of it where I was using Kelly's phone to take notes and stuff. And I hadn't transferred them over. So for like 15 minutes on the Brisbane show, I was like calling Kelly and like frantically, we got it to work. I thought that happened again because I did my notes differently this time. But no, the thing that I wrote is I wrote at the top of my notes, because normally when I'm writing the notes, the first thing I do is I quote the opening quote, because the opening quote is always a banger. I just wrote in my notes, yeah, that makes sense. And I was like, oh, that's not a quote. Oh, no. But I wrote in my notes, under it being Chapter 21 Annabeth, I wrote, yeah, that makes sense. We don't need to see them getting barley. That's why
that would have been a really exciting chapter.
Just one page, like, they found the barley, they leave. Frank, yeah.
Nico says, that's what barley looks like.
Oh, that actually would be really funny if it's Chapter 20 ends with, does anyone know what barley looks like? And then the other one is just one sentence. That's what barley looks. That would have been really good. Rick, we have a good joke idea. So, Chapter 21 opens with, quote, Annabeth decided the monsters wouldn't kill her. Neither would the poisonous atmosphere nor the treacherous landscape with its pits, cliffs, and jagged rocks. Nope, most likely she would die from an overload of weirdness that would make her brain explode. And this overload of weirdness has to do with the fact that they have to be drinking fire, they have to fend off vampire cheerleaders, and they are being saved by a janitor titan. And Annabeth goes, sure, why not? Which is a great recurring slogan for this series. Yeah. Just sure, why not?
I feel like, especially with everything in Tartarus,
yeah,
Rick just pulls out all the stops. He's like, yeah, we can do whatever. We can...
I mean, have you read Greek mythology? Like, they're really, they're getting fast and loose with stuff.
I feel like he sort of sometimes tones it down a little bit, but none of this is toned down. He's just like, yep, they're going through it.
Yep, look, it's an older demographic now. Yeah. The kids' gloves are off. We're in the young adult gloves. Ooh, yeah, we're ready to go. But Annabeth thinks that will be her downfall, the wackiness, the wildness. So they follow Bob along the Phlegathon to that storm that they saw, where it seemed like the Phlegathon was meeting with another river and making like this dark, cloudy storm in the sky. Annabeth appreciates that Percy looks over every now and then just to smile at her or to squeeze her hand. And she especially appreciates this because she knows that he's also scared. He must be scared too. So he's doing this just to make her feel better. And this is me when Kelly and I are in turbulence. So Kelly doesn't do well with turbulence.
Oh, it sucks.
I don't like it. I'm not a fan. I don't know anyone who is. I've heard some pilots think it's like a fun challenge. And it could also be the thing, you know how like when you're driving, like you don't get motion sick because like you know exactly when you're stopping stuff. So maybe like the turbulence isn't as bad when you're steering. But I'm not a big fan of turbulence. I get nervous, but not nearly as badly as Kelly. So when it's going on, my internal monologue is always like, oh no, oh man, uh-oh. But then Kelly's a little worse for wear. So I need to like put on my brave face and be like, we're going to be okay. And then part of me is like, are we? Are we? Yeah, so I get
Sometimes it goes on for a bit too long and you're like, I'm done with this. And the air hostess is just like walking down the aisle with the drinks trolley or whatever.
They're just giving out L&Ps to people like it's nothing. L&P is good. You guys know what's up. It's good.
Right?
And I like that a lot of the Bundaberg flavors have made their way down to here as well because I'm a huge, big Bundaberg guy. And the fact that a lot of those are in the Foursquare refrigerated sections is really good. Not too bad of a price. $2.99 New Zealand? Come on. That's pretty good.
0 cents.
It's like nothing. We got a passion for
do
one in the fridge.
do you guys still have pennies?
Okay.
Sorry.
No.
To ask about American currency.
Well, so here's the problem. The penny should have died long ago because it's silly and stupid. So fortunately, it is being taken away.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Donald Trump made that decision. It's like, I don't want to have to agree with anything. I don't want to ever have to hand it to him. You never should, but like, we shouldn't have the penny. It's so stupid. So you guys don't? Do you just do the like round up thing?
We have 10 cents and that's the smallest that we
That's
go.
what it should be.
Yeah.
And we have nickels, so we have 5-cent pieces. So they should totally get rid of it. But it's been so convenient because all throughout Australia, I think they're in a similar situation where they don't have pennies or anything. It's really nice because we usually got to do cash at the merch table. So we'll have a bunch of Australian cash and, I'm using it. And it's just so much simpler to not have to deal with all the like tiny little coins and stuff.
Australian money is cool. They have like a hexagonal coin.
They got funky ones. And I don't understand, and I don't know if New Zealand does the same thing, but like the unimportant coins are huge and thick, where it's like, this big honking thing is 20 cents. And you're like, this tiny little one is worth $2. Like, I'm going to lose that one. Why is the $2 one not enormous?
We don't have that. We're more normal. Sorry, Australia. But the Australian $2 coin is like almost exactly the same size as our $1 coin. So it's like really confusing if you have both of them.
Yeah. I learned this the hard way because when I lived in France, I think it was the same thing where like they're €1 and the €2. I think they're like small but thick, so they're at least dense. And then the smaller dollar amounts, I think are like bigger but thinner. And one of the first times I went to a bar, I tipped the bartender, just like threw some coins in. And my friend was like, you just tipped that person $5. And I was like, oh no. I just grabbed some small ones and threw them in. And I was like, whatever. They poured me this Guinness well, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, Percy Jackson. So appreciates that he's trying to keep her happy, squeezing her hand, et cetera, et cetera. So Percy assures her that Bob knows what he's doing. And Annabeth says, wow, you have interesting friends, interesting in the semi-derogatory kind of way. But Bob is super delighted. He goes, Bob is interesting, which is great.
I love Bob.
Love Bob. What's not to love? Gotta love Bob.
He's great.
So fun. Annabeth then takes a note to herself. Okay, Bob has good ears. This feels like it could be useful. We've already seen that he heard Percy just mention his name from like across the realm.
Wild.
So impressive.
Did he like get a call? It was like,
his Percy sense is just tingling. Like, my friend needs me. Annabeth tries to sound super casual, doesn't succeed in this, but tries to sound super casual as she asks, so how did you get to Tartarus? And he says he jumped. And Annabeth is very surprised that he would just jump down into the pit of Tartarus just because Percy mentioned his name. But Bob says, look, Percy needed my help. I rose to the task. Plus, I was pretty bored of sweeping. I didn't like sweeping the House of Hades. Love having a new job to do. So yeah.
fair enough.
An excuse to get out of chores. I understand it. I totally
would.
get it.
Like if you're working a like hospo shift and then someone's like, do you want to like come and sit out the back and do some other menial task, but you're sitting down? Yeah.
Oh, delightful. So he lets them know that they are almost at a rest stop, and Annabeth is fascinated to learn what rest stop means in Tartarus. She thinks about how her and Luke and Thalia relied on rest stops in their travel days. Are rest stops a thing here?
Like a...
So I know you have like the picnic area thing where it's like on the side of the road you park, and then there's like a trash can and nothing.
Yeah.
We've been to a couple of those.
Iconic New Zealand thing.
Yeah, but like in America, we'll have those, but there will be like a building with like toilets and there's a parking lot.
I mean, we have public toilets, Mike.
Yes, but like rest stop is like a thing where it's like along the highway, and it's
okay.
like it'll be a sign will be like next rest stop X amount of miles, and there'll be like a vending machine at least. Sometimes there's like fast food places or something where it's more of the dedicated like go and this is where you should stop and relax.
Right.
Sometimes there's gas stations attached to them as well.
Is that because like your cities and towns are further away from each other?
I think
because I
that's
feel
part
like
of it.
we would have a rest stop, but it's just a tiny little town.
Yeah. So we definitely have the towns kind of like you do, where I think this place that had the pies, Fairley, is kind of like that, where it's like a good
the
like
Philly
in-between
pie
town.
shop is famous.
It was very good. And we got in right before the line got way too long.
Nice.
But I feel like we in America have just like the rest stops, whereas in New Zealand, the two things we saw are picnic area, where it's just like go over and then, I don't know, pee in the woods, I guess. Which was funny because we did do this and there were a bunch of other cars parked and it was like, oh, they're peeing in the woods, they're peeing in the woods, they're peeing in the woods.
Yeah,
we
you
know
gotta
what's up.
spread out.
Yeah, we all got to find our different parts of the woods. It's like they should just put a bathroom here, like put a porta potty, condense it. Anyway, but the other thing that I love, especially if you're near mountains and stuff, is they will put the like scenic lookout, which is, it's a pretty lookout, but it's definitely a thing to keep people safe on the roads, where it's like, here's the excuse for you to pull over, get out of your car, stretch your legs.
Yeah.
I love that New Zealand's version is like, we're so pretty, guys. We're so pretty. We're going to keep you alive by being so pretty, which you are. Like driving here is delightful. Yeah. Other side of the car, other side of the road, doing great, no problems, everything's great. The one thing I do mess up all the time though, every time I try to turn on my blinker, I turn on my windshield wipers because those are also the other side.
No, some cars in New Zealand are just the other way around.
Oh,
anyway,
really?
so if you buy a new car, you might just be like, well,
okay.
Now I've got my wipers going all the time.
If you're driving a Toyota RAV4 hybrid, which I recently dropped off at the airport, it's backwards from America. And I know I may have made this reference the last time I was touring here a couple years ago, but what happened last time was I got it wrong all the time. I kept trying to do the blinker or do the windshield wiper. And then the first time I drove my car back in the States when I was like at my parents' place, I went to turn and I did the other one and I was like, dude, how? And the same thing's going to happen because the last time we got to Texas, because there's a direct flight from New Zealand to Houston, and that's where my parents live, and we were there for the holidays. It was great. We're doing that again. We're like going to my parents' place. We're going to be there for a couple of days. So inevitably, I will drive the car to make a grocery store run at our more boring grocery store. Though the H-E-B is really good. You guys would love H-E-B. It's great. They got a mascot as well. It's a paper bag with a face, and he's H-E Buddy.
Wow.
He's great. You can get free stickers with his face on them and give them to your kid. But I'm going to drive the car to H-E-B, and the first time I turn, I'm for sure hitting the wipers. I know it's going to happen. I did such a good job driving on the wrong side of the road. I did a bad job of turn signal. I mean, I always did turn signal, but I always preceded it with a... Because not even with the water... Just a dry windshield wipe.
No.
Delightful stuff. So anyway, Percy Jackson, he lets them know they're almost at a rest stop. Annabeth's fascinated to learn what that means. She thinks about how her Luke and Thalia relied on those in their days. She prays for a clean bathroom and some snacks. And speaking of, she's incredibly hungry. Annabeth reminds us of the Bob story, in case you skipped the Demigod Files, and in case any of you did. Percy, Thalia, and Nico faced him in the underworld.
That is the big three.
Yeah, that's your big three?
Well,
I mean...
It's the big three gods.
Oh, they're all children of the big three.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't think I even clocked that when I read that story.
That's a powerful
That is
trio.
a power. I loved that story. That was fun. Those three being together is great, and I would not hate that happening again. So they faced him in the underworld. They couldn't bring themselves to kill him after he lost his memory in the river Lethe, so they left him with Persephone, who promised to look after him. And Annabeth thinks it's a low blow for her and Hades to think that making him clean up after them for no pay is taking care of him. It gives the big vibes of like when rich people have like the help and they're like, oh, look at this opportunity we've afforded them. It's like, you could be doing more for sure. Yeah. Annabeth tries to counter this sympathy she's feeling for Bob with logic. He's not your friend. And she also tries to counter it with caution. What if he returns to his original evil form? And I had not considered this at all. And I would hate that. I would hate that. That would not be good.
Do you think it might happen?
So I think it might, because later in the chapter, Annabeth worries about it again. And if I know anything about Chekhov's underscore, if it gets mentioned twice, not looking good.
It's a little bit ominous.
It's not looking good. What would suck about it, obviously, having to fight a big scary titan with the cool boomerang spear, the broomerang, that's tough. That's tough. But if he does this after being really nice to them for a good portion of the book, it'll be so crushing. Like if they have to kill their former friend who's now turned back evil, it's going to be really emotional. So I really hope that it doesn't happen, but if it does happen, that's really good writing. Good job, Rick. You know what you're doing. It's almost like you've written 12 of these.
I assume you brought the trapdoor with you on the plane. But I won't activate it.
Yeah, it's fully, that was the big part of, like, that's why I was so concerned about getting here early, is that I needed to make sure that the trapdoor was installed.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then it like zoops you and brings you to the North Island. Oh no, I gotta catch a ferry. Oh. So she thinks about this. She looks at the broom, and at that point, she thinks about how he used to be Iapetus, and I was like, oh, right, that name means something about like spear thrower or whatever. That's why he was able to broomerang. Yeah, gotcha. Even though this is a huge risk, traveling with a Titan, Annabeth can't think of a better plan, so she decides to continue to go along with it. The scenic vibes just get worse and worse the deeper they get. Like the surrounding area just gets scarier and scarier as they progress further and further. And narrator Annabeth tells us that there are conflicting descriptions of Tartarus. Some say that it's an endless pit. Others say that it's a giant fortress. Others say that it's an empty void. But the closest to reality, according to Annabeth, is one that describes it like an inverse sky made of rock. But even that doesn't do it justice for all of the horrors. And she will later describe how it's like alive and stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's gross.
Percy already described this. Now Annabeth is describing it. They walk past a half-forming draken in one of the like larvae type stations, and Bob just spears it into dust without thinking, which is very smart. Just go, do it, delete the potential future enemies. Very smart. Annabeth is on my page, and that's also Percy's page, that the land feels alive. She knows that this is the body of the god Tartarus, the original evil incarnate. It's like Gia to the earth, but him for the deepest part of the underworld.
There's this bit, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
There's this bit where she says, monsters are zits on the skin of Tartarus. And I, like, that's so gross, but also, as someone with adult acne, it's so accurate.
Yeah.
They do just feel like little demonic things that like you get rid of and then they just come back in the same spot.
And they always come back at the worst times.
Yeah.
I am thankfully at a point now where it's like mostly under control, combination of just like dermatologist, skincare routine, like getting older. I would hope it would eventually go away, but I still have like flare-ups and breakouts every now and then. And it's always, and maybe it's like the stress of the events, but it is always right before an event, like before the Percy Jackson premiere, before I'm like on the junket thing. And here's the thing that was annoying. So I get there to do the junkets, which is a great, beautiful opportunity. I'm incredibly thankful. It's wonderful.
I'm jealous.
I understand. Like, it was super freaking cool. It was awesome. The cameras, very high quality, really nice. The actors all had a hair and makeup team.
Yeah.
I did not have a hair and makeup team. When you do those videos, it like shows the three, whether it's Walker and Leah and Daniel, or when it was Dior, Arian, and Charlie, they had like people in the room, like in between each one, like doing their hair and makeup, whereas the other three, not so much. Like there was just like when they were in between sessions on breaks. But like you look at the video and it's like they're talking, then it's back to me and it's like, wow, my skin looks way worse. Like not like drastically bad, but it's like, man, I would have loved like a little concealer and someone tell me, oh no, your hair is a little issue.
One of them just like come over and give me a little hand.
Right, yeah. Maybe I need to form a bond and be like, hey, Arian's mom, can you also I don't know if it was his mom. I don't know. His mom was definitely there, but I don't know if she's I would love to have an assistant. That would be great. That'd be super fun. Hair and makeup department, please. That's the real dream, is to like get booked on some sort of something where the hair and makeup department also takes care of me. I have not reached that level of doing stuff.
I would love hope for you, Mike. I believe.
It would be so nice. I don't know what it would take, what it would be, but something thing where they're like, oh, we actually have to hair and makeup you? God, I would love it. Oh, I would show up like 2 hours early. Like, you need to be here at 5. You'd be like, I'll be there at 3 so I can have a heart-to-heart or a D&M with the hair team. Is D&M not a thing here? You said it was a thing.
No, it is. I think it's just so normal that no one thinks
Right. There's a whole thing in one of the Australia shows. Podcast listeners will be like, we got this. In the Perth show, Polly, my Australian guest, said D&M. And I was like, what's that? We don't say that in the US. It's really cool. We just say heart to heart. D&M's way cooler. Anyway, Percy Jackson. So Annabeth worries that if Tartarus the god notices them traversing his domain, then it'll be game over. Bob then says here, and they've arrived at a ridge. Narrator Annabeth says, quote, they stopped at the top of a ridge. Below them, in a sheltered depression like a moon crater, stood a ring of broken black marble columns surrounding a dark stone altar. Bob says that it's Hermes' shrine. And I was like, to Luke? Like, what is this? What's going on? Why is there a Hermes shrine down here? Percy asks, why is there a Hermes shrine down here? Bob says that it fell down here long ago, either from Olympus or the mortal world. He doesn't know, but he knows that monsters avoid it, so it should be a safe space for them to go to.
I feel like this is such a cool idea that Rick had and was like, we need some kind of respite in the midst of this hell pit. What can I do? Oh.
Yeah, it's cool. And then it gets cooler / scarier because Annabeth asks, how do you know that this was here? And he says that he can't remember. So I remember notes, oh, so this is from the evil days. And I was wondering, did he have a hand in this? Like, did he pick this up and chuck it down here or something? But narrator Annabeth has a slightly different thought. Quote, Annabeth felt like kicking herself. Before Bob became Bob, he had been Iapetus the Titan. Like all of his brethren, he'd been imprisoned in Tartarus for eons. Of course he knew his way around. If he remembered this shrine, he might start recalling other details of his old prison and his old life. That would not be good. So yeah, 2 mentions. Whoa, Chekhov's senses.
Yeah,
tingling.
we're on thin
Not
ice.
good. Really not good. But it does make sense. Like that being the reason, just like parts of his past life coming back together, he snaps back. So Annabeth proving to be very wise, thinking of these things that I hadn't considered, but I'm really worried about it happening. I'm really worried.
I do love that because Demigod Files, Diaries, whichever it was.
Files is the one with him in it. Yeah.
I mean, that was written quite a while ago. It takes like 4 books to actually get to this point. And the payoff is like, I don't know, like the implications.
As I've been saying in previous episodes, I think it is hilarious that when I went into it, I'm pretty sure Kelly asked me, what do you think of these 3 stories is going to be the most relevant thing? And I was like, the Sword of Hades, surely. But no, it's the bronze dragon and the giant nice titan. And I don't think we've heard about this sword because it's not the one Nico uses. I think it's a different sword. They made it for Hades, and even Hades didn't use that sword in book 5. Wild. I was so wrong with that
fun little
prediction.
extra bit to confuse you.
Yeah, throw you off the scent. Worked well. So they descend and they enter this circle of the columns. Annabeth collapses in exhaustion. Percy hovers over her to protect her. Love this. And he's also scanning the area to make sure that nothing is approaching them. And the storm is pretty close to them and it's hard to see through. It's obscuring their vision. And the crater rim that they are seeing also blocks their view. So Annabeth realizes, okay, this makes us well hidden. That is good. That is cool. Unfortunately, though, if monsters are going to attack us and ambush us, we wouldn't be able to see them. So this could also be very bad. So Annabeth then asks Bob, you said someone was chasing us. Who is chasing us? Who were you referring to? And Bob says, quote, they are following. Yes, they know you are here. Giants and Titans, the defeated ones, they know. Again, not great.
Really, really not great at all.
No. And Annabeth explains exactly what I was thinking, which is in each of the books, defeating one of these people was so challenging.
Yeah.
Now it's the all-star game. Like they're all together. This sucks.
It's like final boss times a million.
Yeah, really tough. So Annabeth tries running the numbers, thinking, how many Titans and Giants have we squashed over the years? As the narrator, she says, quote, each one had seemed like an impossible challenge if all of them were down here in Tartarus and if they were actively hunting Percy and Annabeth, ... Yeah, super tough.
I do get the sense that Percy is like a celebrity to monsters, but an evil celebrity.
Oh, this is Batman walking through Arkham Asylum. Like, they all want to destroy him. They all hate this guy. He
just
so
had to be
responsible.
so powerful and amazing.
But I would at least find it justified because what keeps happening is, at least with Jason, people keep getting mad at Jason for either being a son of Zeus / Jupiter or having the name Jason. People are like, oh, there was a Jason that screwed us over. I'm going to take it out on you. And he's like, that was a different guy. Or it's like, oh, there was a son of Zeus / Jupiter who did something mean to us. It's like, I'm not in control of them. My dad is bad. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for him. At least if people are like, hey, you killed me to Percy. He's like, I did. Yeah, sorry. At least it's warranted.
Like for the Minotaur, twice.
Yeah, dude. If he comes
he's
back
coming
again,
back.
I would love. He should come back and be like, all right. He switches to boxer briefs. He's like, I mean business now. Yeah. Like, or he puts on pants. I put on pants now. Like that was the problem. Yeah. Him coming back a third time would be so funny. So Annabeth thinks, okay, well, if they're after us, stopping is silly. We should keep going. We should skedaddle. Bob says, we'll keep moving soon, but I know that mortals need rest. This is a good place to rest. You should rest. And I'm like, ooh, we're about to get dreams. This is good. This will be fun. Bob says that he will stand guard while they sleep, and Annabeth shoots Percy a look of, yeah, no. Because she thinks that hanging out with a Titan is bad enough. Trusting him to protect them while they sleep, it's so obvious you shouldn't have to be a daughter of the goddess of wisdom to clock that this is a huge red flag. So Percy says, okay, you go to sleep first, because she's the narrator and she has to be around for a couple more chapters. No, he says, you should sleep first. I'll keep watch with Bob. Bob agrees, and he says that when Annabeth wakes, food should be here. And I wrote food, and narrator Annabeth says, quote, Annabeth's stomach did a rollover at the mention of food. She didn't see how Bob could summon food in the midst of Tartarus. Maybe he was a caterer as well as a janitor?
Maybe he's not a jack of all trades, but a Bob of all trades.
A Bob of all trades. I truly wonder what the food situation is going to be because we don't get an answer, and I am fascinated. What is the local cuisine in Tartarus?
Like,
What
are there
could it
any
be?
like little grubs on the ground that are like wriggling around? They can eat some maggots.
Oh, it's the food that they eat in The Lion King, the slimy yet satisfying. The only thing that I feel like should be, like tartar sauce clearly should be there.
Oh,
like it's
absolutely.
too on the nose not to be there. It should be there.
has
Oh
Percy-
no. Oh, it's all just food tartare. Like it's just like, which is that a thing here? 'Cause I don't know how people do it. I don't know how the Europeans do tartare, where it's like just like raw meat and you just eat it. Oh.
I am vegetarian, but I've never
Okay.
had that anyway,
It's
and I wouldn't want to.
It feels so wrong.
Yeah.
Like you're eating and you're like, salmonella. Like I'm not supposed to do this. So that would be I'm guessing Tartar's cuisine is just food tartare. Not great. The only food tartare should be like sushi grade fish. That can
Yeah.
be tartare.
Yeah.
Sure, fine. But like steak tartare? No, thank you. Cook this, please. Thank you. Europeans, power to you. Your stomach's stronger than mine. But anyway, Annabeth doesn't want to sleep, but her body betrays her. That feels so on brand for me when I need to stay awake, especially when you're doing something with the baby. Like I'm trying to get the baby to fall asleep and it's like, I need to stay awake. Let's get the baby back to sleep. But I'm trying, woken up in the middle of the night or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, especially if you're doing something like you're reading the baby a bedtime story or listening to a lullaby or something. We were trying to get the baby to fall asleep in the car today. And Kelly started playing like a song that we use as the baby's lullaby. And I started to like doze. I was like, Kelly, I'm driving. We have to come up with a new strategy. This is bad. This is
It's
bad.
just like there's a bit in the second Incredibles movie where Mr. Incredible is
Yes.
putting his baby to sleep and he starts to just drift off. And then Jack's like, slap.
Yeah. Look, I've had to do that with certain books. There's certain books that are just like, Goodnight Moon puts you to sleep. But that's the good thing.
That's the point, right?
We've been gifted over the course of this tour some like Australian classic books. So they're new and different. So Possum Magic hasn't put me to sleep yet. But maybe if I get so familiar with it. But like Goodnight Moon for sure. I mean, that book is boring as hell. That's why it's a perfect. They just say what's in a room and then say goodnight to everything in the room. Like it's
you
not
think-
captivating literature.
Like, if you're that kind of author, can you sort of brag about how boringly you write?
Yeah, like I guess it is a skill, like
Yeah.
to be soothing. And it's funny. Sometimes people will say, "Oh, I listen to your podcast to fall asleep," and then they'll apologize, like, "Oh, I don't mean that you're boring." It's like, no. You're saying that I have a soothing voice to listen to. Like, I'll gladly take it. So, yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's not just that it's boring. Like Goodnight Moon is a well-written bedtime story.
Yeah.
Like it does just kind of like get you in the sleep. I'm sleepy just talking about Goodnight Moon.
Let's
It's
move on.
good. It's efficient. No, we got show to do, baby. So then she tells Percy to wake her for the second watch and to not be hero. That is another big parenting thing. Like when Kelly and I are both up late and it's like, no, I'll do the first shift, like whatever. Yeah, it's always tempting to like be the hero and be like, I'll stay up, especially like early phases when the baby was really tiny. Like, yeah. So these two things back to back, as a parent, I was like, I feel seen. I feel very seen. So then the book ends this chapter with the following quote: he gave her that smirk she'd come to love. Who, me? He kissed her, his lips parched and feverishly warm. Sleep. Annabeth felt like she was back in the Hypnos cabin at Camp Half-Blood, overcome with drowsiness. She curled up on the hard ground and closed her eyes. So it's the end of chapter 21, which I have retitled A Rest Stop on the Highway to Hell.
Nice.
What have you retitled chapter 21?
What did I? I just wrote, Bob pops a zit.
Yeah,
That was
he
the most
does. That's
memorable
good.
part to me.
I like
I
that.
read that and I really I felt it deep
really
in my
fun.
soul.
I like it a lot. That's good. Cool. Well, again, that is the end of this portion of the episode. We'll take a little break if you're listening to the podcast, and then we'll get back into the Q&A. So let's all say goodbye to the podcast people.
Bye, podcast.
Hey, it's Mike from the future. Before we get into Q&A, I have updates and information about the Q&A, and then also we're going to be taking another little ad break because it's a longer episode. So as far as the updates and information stuff, in the Q&A, we're going to talk about cheese rolls. This is where they were introduced to me. I'm happy to let everyone know that I did end up having them, but it wasn't until later in the tour. They're fantastic. So glad that I learned about them. I also learned at this show, because I made fun of tasty cheese, which is like an actual official type of cheese in Australia and New Zealand. And I had a very helpful attendee at this live show afterwards tell me that tasty cheese is the same cheese as what we call in America sharp cheddar. So we have medium cheddar or mild cheddar, and then sharp cheddar, which is better and it's aged more and it's a lot tastier. So for them to call it tasty cheese makes sense. I believe this person said that they have mild cheddar and tasty cheese, and that is the correct way to do it because sharp cheddar is the only good cheddar. I will die on this hill. The other update is we will talk about the Air New Zealand safety video, which I had not seen on my flight down. I did watch it on my flight back, and I'm happy to say that Stella is correct, where it's very well shot, very interesting, but also very dramatic and feels a little bit overkill for a safety video, but seems cool. I feel like they had credits afterwards. I think it's the only time I've seen credits in a safety video. Wild stuff. Anyway, those are all the updates about what we're about to talk about. The Q&A is really fun. You should stick around and listen. We're going to break for a little bit of ads here just because it's a longer episode, but once those ads are complete, we'll get back into this episode of the newest Olympian.
We can get into Q&A. Lucas, let's do Q&A. All right. Your microphone awaits you. Thank you, everyone, for sending in questions. Hello. Here, you got a mic on a mic stand over there. Yeah, you're all ready to go. You've got your whole domain.
1 second, I'm just going to open up my incognito window for undisclosed reasons.
It's the TNO Gmail.
So,
What?
we will...
Well, I did the incognito window so we can just hit X
yeah.
afterwards and then not get bombarded with a bunch of emails like from the next live
He starts
show.
sending out emails.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. What do you?
Skybell sends him an email and I'm like,
He starts signing sponsorship deals with companies I don't like. What do you mean, HelloFresh? I turned them down years ago once the union busted. No.
What if Foursquare sends you an email?
Dude, I'm kicking myself for I didn't think there's so many moving parts to go on the Australia New Zealand tour. I should have reached out to all of these grocery stores that I keep talking lovingly about and all the brands. And I should have tried to get this sponsored. Like, this should be the Whitaker's Bundaberg Foursquare presents.
Absolutely.
So the next time I'm hitting up all these places. Because
You can
even if
become-
they don't pay me, if they just give me free peanut slabs, let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on. Give me some Hooky Bookie Crunch. You give me one bar of Whitaker's chocolate, I'll name the whole tour after you. I don't give a damn. Anyway, we have questions sent in by the fine folks in the crowd.
alrighty, so our first question comes in from Talia Ray. Hey, Mike, Talia and Noah here, table 3. Where are we in the crowd?
Hello.
We have come from Culverden, the town filled with cows.
Okay. How far away is that from here? 2.5 hours. Okay.
We drove
a
about
trek.
2 to get here. Worth it, yeah?
All right. Thank you so much.
So, Foursquare being the only grocery store within an hour drive?
I love this. I would genuinely do a podcast just talking about grocery stores in
you know,
towns.
I'm
so on board.
There's a few questions in here about grocery stores.
Good. Then my brand.
So, our question is, if you could pick one New Zealand snack to have readily available at home, what would it be?
Oh, one New Zealand snack. Okay, this is going to be hard because I want to make sure I don't pick an Australian snack that just happens to be there. That's going to be really tough. How about you? What would be your favorite, just to make sure, and I'll try to make sure I don't pick something incorrect.
I mean, we were just talking about Whitaker's.
Yeah, I think. Oh no. Okay, so here's the two. Whitaker's is fantastic. The two things I really like the most, the peanut slab, something about it, just like how thick it is just really solid. Like, it's just a nice, dense piece of chocolate. It feels really good. But the other thing I really like is the the collaboration between, is it Lewis Road Creamery and Whitaker's that do the little chocolate milks? Those are really good.
They're so yum.
Those hit really hard.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I could have that particular chocolate milk all the time, like it's really good. And you know it's good because like when you buy it, like the chocolate is at the bottom.
and you shake
and
it up.
you're like, oh, this is real chocolate. Whereas like in America, it would be like, cocoa synthesized, whatever, it's something else. Like, no, this is just milk with chocolate in it. Great, perfect. Like, no. So I think that would be my choice there. Yeah.
They also have a little side note. Have you tried the cheese rolls? They're very popular down south.
Cheese rolls? No, I don't think I've had a cheese roll.
You've never tried a cheese
No,
roll?
so what's a cheese roll?
Oh my god!
Where do I get it and what is it?
Okay,
I'm
so
here
a cheese
for quite
roll.
some time.
A cheese roll is a thing of beauty.
Okay.
You get a slice of like plain cheap white bread.
Okay.
You get. Have you had the like kiwi onion dip before?
I don't think I have.
Okay.
Bro.
I'm assuming kiwi, not like kiwi the fruit, like
Like-
kiwi the nationality.
Like the nationality,
Yeah,
yes.
cool.
Sorry, okay. Slight sidebar. Here's how you make kiwi onion dip.
Good. I'm so down.
You get a tin of reduced cream and you get this like onion powder.
soup
it's
mix.
actually onion
Okay,
soup, but
okay.
they've started marketing it for the dip because
Yeah.
that's all anyone uses it for.
I love that.
You know
You
the
mix
brand
those
Maggi?
together.
Do I know who?
The brand Maggi.
No.
For the like the deviled sausages, the gravy mixes.
Okay.
New Zealand
This
brand.
is their brand. Okay, cool.
This is probably their best selling product. So you mix the reduced cream and the onion soup mixed together. And And vinegar.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
okay.
Good.
And you put that on the bread and then you sprinkle some cheese on the top.
Okay.
And then
Is there a particular type of cheese?
I don't know.
Do you guys also have tasty cheese, which is like an
Yeah.
official type of cheese?
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. I bought something and it was like with tasty cheese. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, the cheese tastes good. And then on the back, the ingredients, it was like X% tasty cheese. And I was like, oh, that's the legal name of the cheese.
You guys don't have tasty cheese.
We have tasty cheese, but we don't have capital T tasty
okay.
cheese. We have cheese that is tasty, but we don't have tasty cheese.
Okay, well, probably you use tasty cheese.
Okay, great.
I'm not fussy. You put that on the top. You roll the bread into a little roll.
Like a Swiss roll, but but bread and cheese and onion dip.
And then you pop them in the oven,
Oh, okay.
just like that. And then they come out and they're all crispy and warm and
That
they're
sounds
like
great.
the best snack in the world.
Okay. What kind of powder? Butter powder? Oh, just butter. Sorry, I thought you said.
How dare you? The dairy
Well, the
industry
onion is
would
powder.
kill you.
Okay, so butter on top. Okay, this sounds great. We should have enough time. I don't know. One of the places, Wellington. I think Wellington, the place we're staying, is like an apart hotel thing. So I think it's got like ovens and like proper.
You probably also
cookware,
can
so.
buy these in some variation
Now
at like
I want to
cafes.
make it. I want to get the powder. It sounds so fun.
It
I want to
is.
get
It's
the mix.
great.
I'll try. I will hope to do it, and then hopefully in the Wellington or the Auckland show, I'll be able to talk about how I made cheese rolls, and hopefully it went
Please.
well. That sounds great. Thank you for the tip.
I can't wait to listen to that in a few months' time on the pod.
I can't wait to listen back to this recording for the recipe. Make sure I don't mess it up. Just play it out loud for Kelly and I to do at home. This sounds great. Awesome. Cool. Off to a great start.
Alrighty, so our next question comes from Natalie. Hello, my mum is coming to visit from NYC. Have there been any showstoppers for you as a fellow American that you've seen around the South Island on your visit that I should make sure to include while we tour?
Ooh, okay. So like things to bring your mom from New York to see. Where are you in the crowd, by the way? Are you originally from New York and now you live here? Okay, cool. I mean, Fairleigh Power Shop was cool. The whole town was very cute. I mean, when we did South Island stuff last time, like all the hikes are just the best. Like any hike where you can go and see water that looks like it's Gatorade because it's so blue is awesome. We had a really fun time, all the South Island stuff last time. We did like Fox Glacier and another glacier, and we did like the Hokitika, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, Gorge, a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, any hike and view is just going to be awesome, depending on her hike skill level, because some were like quite intense. Like we did like Lake Matheson, the big reflective one. That was really cool. Everything's just so pretty. And the stuff that we did this time around, so when we were in the Lake Tekapo area. And
That was good.
Yeah, okay, cool. And then there was Lake, which I'm also saying probably wrong, Pukaki.
I think. that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Yeah. But like all that stuff was like that was really pretty, and there was a lot of things like since we were doing stuff with the baby, we were able to do stuff that like wasn't too hard. So like the Hooker Valley track was cool. It's under construction now though, so you didn't get to see everything. But yeah,
Everything
just-
is under construction. There are so many roadworks in Christchurch right now.
Oh man, but
It's a struggle.
yeah, I think like it's just the nature here is so beautiful. Like all the hikes are gorgeous. Just the mountains are so even like driving around is just cool because you're just like in the most intense valley ever. So like I don't know, all the stuff. It's awesome. Also that Wanaka's my favorite city in the South Island. No disrespect to Christchurch, but Wanaka
fine.
rips, man. You got Puzzling World. You got that tree that's in the middle of the water. You got a bunch of really good food. Like it's great. Vibes are off the charts. That place is awesome. A lot of really fun things to do. But yeah, like there's so much cool stuff. Your mom's gonna love it. And especially New York City, like, yeah, get her out into the nature. Like it's so different. Let her see some green, luscious beauty, and then she'll be like, oh, it's so different. Looking up at skyscrapers, looking up at giant mountains that are in the backgrounds of the Lord of the Rings movies. Hell yeah, let's do it.
Alrighty, so our next question comes from Caitlin. Christchurch actually has a te reo name, as do most of the English places in New Zealand do. Christchurch is actually called Ōtautahi.
Okay.
Something to know.
Fun
The more
fact.
you know. So where else are you visiting apart from obviously Wellington and Auckland? What are you most excited about?
Ooh, let's see. So we're doing tomorrow morning very early. We're doing a train all the way up to. We're basically like train all the way to the northernmost part of the South Island and then ferry over to Wellington. So that's just going to be fun because it's like big scenic train. And we did a big scenic train last time, just like functionally to get from the east side to the west side. Now we're doing it again functionally, but it'll be very pretty. So that'll be fun. Then the ferry, I'm a little worried of the ferry because I've heard that like sometimes the water can be really rough and sometimes it's so rough they delay it. So like half of it is like, it could either be amazing and gorgeous and lovely and look at the ocean and blah, blah, blah. And then the other half of me is like, oh no, what if it's like really bumpy and we get seasick? Like it's either going to be the coolest thing ever or the most terrifying thing ever. I am stoked just because we did not visit Wellington at all last time. I think that's probably what I'm most excited for just because it will be all completely new. I'm going to try to go surfing in Wellington. There's like apparently a pretty famous bay. Like it's only like 20 minutes out of the city. It's like near the airport. Lyle. Yeah. So it seems pretty cool. I like that it's right next to the airport. I think that's fun. While I'll be like surfing and planes will be taking off and landing. Like that sounds neat. So I'm gonna try to go surfing there, which will be fun. I tried to go surfing multiple times during the Australia portion of this, and it just didn't work out. Like either because of weather or just like
The shark attacks?
look. Maybe it was
The
all
4
for the
shark
best.
attacks in, like, 3 days?
Wild stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe it all worked out. But there were 2 times where it was like trying to do it and it didn't work. So if that could happen in Wellington, that would be super duper fun. So I think that's what I'm most stoked about.
She also says, also need to acknowledge the green striped socks to represent the vines. Is that in reference to the social media platform?
So, or the vines like from the chapter, I would assume.
Or
No,
that one.
the reason I wore these socks is these are the free socks you get on Air New Zealand. And they're
thought I
great.
recognized
They're great. So we flew Air New Zealand here and then we're flying Air New Zealand back and they gave us like the little bag with like the stuff in it, like the eye mask and the lotion or whatever. And they gave us these socks and they're too big for Kelly. So now I have 2 pairs of these socks and I've just been wearing them around like the whole trip. And they're really thin. So I thought I would wear them and be like, they'll get holes in them after like 2 uses, whatever. They're holding up really well. I like the colors. I think they're great. They're nice and thin which is good for a show because I just don't need to have like thick, chunky socks and it's like warmer today. I am planning on wearing the Air New Zealand socks to all of the New Zealand shows because it feels like the most.
See how many people recognize
Yeah, no, I'm so glad a question of it came up. I was wondering if any question would be like, are those the Air New Zealand socks? So I'm delighted that it came up. Yeah, that's why I'm wearing these.
Speaking of Air New Zealand, do you have any opinion on the Air New Zealand safety video?
Oh, okay. Which one was it? I'm trying to remember because usually anytime a safety video comes up, I'm like, I'm trying to watch a movie. I know what to do.
Yeah. They always say like, please watch it even if you fly with us often.
Right. And what's always annoying is because for me, I'm always at this point watching something on the screen because I will watch a movie until I'm allowed to take my laptop out and then I'll usually work, edit, do whatever. So I'm watching something and then they do the thing where it's like the noise is coming out of the speaker and into your headphones and it's like, this is how the seatbelt works. It's like, I know how a seatbelt works.
Yeah.
Anyway, what is the Air New Zealand video?
It's like some girl finding a kakapo, which is a native bird, and bringing it to like a bird sanctuary or something like that. And they have to fly there, but they have this like weird wooden plane. And
I will have to watch it for the flight home. I think I fully ignored it.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't realize for quite a while that Air New Zealand is the only airline that actually like puts effort into their
Okay.
Safety
All the
videos.
American ones put like big effort into it.
Okay.
They're always trying to be like the coolest one. Like they're all fighting with where like they'll have like avant-garde representations of an airplane. Like I think it was United had this one where it was like it would all be like airplane chairs and stuff, but they're not in an airplane. They're like on a beach.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, your life jacket will be here. And it's like they try really hard. Delta was doing one where it was like they celebrated their however many year anniversary. So it was like traveling through the time. And it was like, this person is wearing the uniform from the 1920s. And this person's wearing the uniform from the 1950s and all that kind of stuff. They got all like the different uniforms. So like, yeah, all the American ones I think are in a competition to do the better ones. But then South Korean Airlines does the best because they just get BTS telling you. And you know who I'm going to listen to? BTS.
Wow.
When Jungkook's like, here's how your seatbelt works. I'm like, yeah, dude. Like that's going to get me to pay attention. Not whatever else is happening. I don't care about, United, where you travel. What? No, let me get back to watching this movie. Yeah. Okay. I'll clock it and I'll report back on.
The thing is, the original one that they did was a really funny one where all of the air hostesses and hosts, etc., and pilots had painted on uniforms.
Oh, like body paint?
Yeah, like it sounds
Feels a little
so
risque.
bizarre. Well, that was kind of the point.
Okay.
But it was just like really well done, very tongue in cheek, and had some like little funny jokes. And then ever since then, they've been like, we've got to pump out a new one like every single month, and it's got to be amazing. And we've got to like bring the All Blacks on, and we've got to talk about Lord of the Rings, and it's just not cool.
They should just have people doing the haka, but instead they like describe how to do like this is how you blow. That's probably offensive, but
Yeah, it
I
could
would
be.
pay attention if there's people like smacking and being like and as they're just like I would love it. One of my favorite videos on earth is when the America team was playing the New Zealand basketball team in like a FIBA World Championship, and the haka's going on, and then they just cut to like James Harden, who's like, "What the hell is happening?" Quality. Just
so
watch
good.
like USA men's basketball team confused by haka on YouTube. It's so good. Kenneth Fareed just like 1,000-yard stare of like, what's going on? But they're all like, I don't want to be offensive, but also, why are they yelling at us and smiling and dancing? Oh, it's so good. And then we beat them by like 80 points. You guys were so much worse.
No.
Sorry. There's only one Steven Adams. You need 12. You need 12 Steven Adamses. There's a basketball with Steven Adams. It's the current one. Okay, I gotta watch it. Look, I love Steven Adams. Him doing the haka, that'd be even better. Even better. Let's keep it going.
She also says, thank you so much for taking the time to do a show in Christchurch. We often get missed from after the earthquakes for the larger shows, so it means a lot.
Wait, the earthquake happened and our bands are like, nope, not going there. That's wild.
The earthquake happened and our entire central city disappeared, basically. So there was sort of like no nightlife
was
or anything
bad.
for a long time. Yeah.
I am very happy to be here and I'm glad it all worked out.
Thank you for coming.
Of course.
So we'll move on to Laura and Liam. Where are you guys in the crowd? Up the
All right,
back.
hello.
Hey Mike, love the pod and thank you for coming back to New Zealand. Love the shirt as always. Have you found any fun novelty shirts while you've been here? Also, we apologise for Auckland in advance. It's Auckland.
Ooh.
It's Auckland. What can we say? I agree with this statement.
I feel, I will see how the Auckland show goes and everything, but I feel like Auckland is this interesting thing where all of New Zealand is like, yeah, it's the most populous city and it's the one with like the big airport and stuff, but it's so boring. We're so boring. Yeah. So I haven't got any novelty New Zealand shirts yet. I definitely plan on it. I would love to. I am currently wearing a semi-novelty, but not really, Australia shirt. It's like by an Aboriginal clothing company called Clothing the Gap. And it's got the little Aboriginal flag, and on the back it says "Didgeridoo the right thing."
We love a pun.
It's really good. So I will certainly get some sort of one for New Zealand. I would love to get it. I will just have to keep perusing the different
I'm
stores.
sure you could find one with the Foursquare guy.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I'll
I'm
look
sure
for
that's
that.
out there.
That would be good. I'll look for that. I don't know if there's particular phrases like last time I was in Australia, I got a hat that says "Good on ya" on it, which I really enjoy. I don't know if there's like a particular like trademark classic New Zealand phrase. I mean, obviously Kia ora, but I don't know if there's like a fun, quirky one. Like I don't know. In Australia, they say like "Happy Days" and then, like. Okay, that was long and also sounded like Maori. Yeah. So I will get something. I'm on the prowl. I will get some sort of New Zealand something. At the worst case, I got the socks, and they're great, and they're doing
Free
me wonder.
as well.
So this next one comes from Migle from the ticket stand. Hey, considering you've been driving so much in New Zealand, out of the 7, who do you think you would like to share your drive with the most? Who would be the driver, the navigator, passenger, princess, DJ?
Ooh, I definitely would want to share it with Annabeth, number one, because I feel like she'd be a great like navigator. She'd know exactly like turn here, this roundabout, go there, on this roundabout, go there, on this roundabout, go there, on this roundabout, go there. You guys love roundabouts, all about them. I do think though they're great. Like roundabouts work better than stop signs. I think it's better.
Is it scary going through a roundabout the wrong way?
The first couple of times, not that I was going to go the wrong way, but more of just like, because we have roundabouts in the US.
It's like the wrong way to you though, right?
Yeah, like I'm not afraid that I'm going to go to the right. It's more of I was afraid I was going to do the lanes wrong.
Right.
Because like we have them in the US, but like it's still true. So the first couple of times I did it, I was like, am I supposed to be on this side? Am I supposed to be on that side? But then I got the hang of it quickly. But I do love when Kelly's like, oh, it's a roundabout, you make the first left. I'm like, cool. It's just a curvy left turn.
Yeah.
Love this.
Easy.
Love so easy. So easy. Let's see. Yeah. So Annabeth, and you feel free to jump in with any like, I definitely get that aux cord away from Leo Valdez as far away as possible.
Oh, yeah.
He'd pick the
he
worst
would torture
stuff.
you with
He'd be like,
that.
oh, here's this like remix of this song. I'd be like, no, it'd be so bad, so bad.
I feel like Nico is the one who just like falls asleep in the. I know he's not one
Yeah.
of 7, but he just falls asleep in the back.
Yeah, Nico falls asleep in the back for sure. Hazel would just be like mystified by the wonder
True.
of automobiles.
She
She'd be like,
would.
what does this button do? What is air conditioning? She'd be all fascinated. Percy, I feel like, is down for a fun car game. I feel like he could be fun. I feel like Frank would be fun to have as well. Not a lot of bad vibes, but I
Yeah.
feel like top of the list has got to be Annabeth because I feel like she would have like everything planned out super well.
Yeah, you are having
Who
a
would be
smooth
the
ride.
passenger princess?
Passenger princess. I don't know if any people are really passenger princessy because even like I think the default is to try think Piper because of Aphrodite, Kevin. But I feel like she would not be.
I feel like Jason would be the passenger princess.
He is always getting into head trauma and gets carried around everywhere.
Bless him.
Always
Aw.
him. Piper, she would bring the snacks. She would have like
Yes.
really good and vegetarian friendly snacks, and I think she'd be a great addition. Yeah.
The next one comes from Emily. First of all, thank you for coming back to New Zealand, and particularly Christchurch.
Of course.
The fruit bowl is giving Cromwell's big fruit sculpture.
Oh, I didn't know there was a big fruit sculpture in Cromwell.
There's so many big sculptures in New Zealand.
I know
like
there was a big
fish.
salmon one.
Yeah.
There was a big salmon one in between. We were trying to like, what are things we could do along this drive? And I was like, there's a place that has a big salmon, and the reviews
There's a big
online were like, it's
carrot.
big.
There's a big carrot. There's a big LMP somewhere.
Oh, big LMP
is that in
fun.
Paeroa? Yeah.
Okay.
Because
very fun.
LMP stands for lemon in Paeroa. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah.
It's cool. I did this just because I was looking up and Stella told me that the nickname of Christchurch is the Garden City.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun because I come from New Jersey, the Garden State. And I was just like, fruit bowl feels gardeny. Yeah, that feels about right. So tried to match the vibe the best that I could.
Love the show. Can't wait to see you again in Wellington in a few days.
Oh, cool. Yeah, enjoy.
Returning guest. Please come back to New Zealand again soon and make sure you visit the West Coast, the best coast.
I loved the West Coast. It was absolutely delightful. Oh, the coolest thing, if you can do this, if you can go to taking your New York City mom somewhere, we kayaked in Doubtful Sound. Coolest thing. That was nuts. You got to book it in advance and stuff, and you can do the Milford Sound when we're on a ferry, whatever, cool, boring. No, you're in a kayak in like the giant crevice in the water. You got to like take a van out there, and then they put you in a kayak. It was so cool. Just like a super unique thing. Not that hard of like actual kayaking. The guide like did really well and everything. It was so cool, and it's fun because the guide at one point like points out this waterfall because you're just in the giant crevice, and you look and it seems like a tiny little dinky waterfall. Like it looks really skinny, but it's just because the perspective is so off. It's ginormous. And he goes, "Yeah, that's like 5 times larger than Niagara Falls." And I was like, "Whoa!" Like it's so big and huge. It's super cool. That's probably the coolest thing we did. It was insane. West side of South Island, lovely stuff.
You should go to the West Coast of the North Island. That's where I'm from.
Oh, I would love to. I would love to.
Very good up there.
Cool.
This next question comes from Andrew. Hi, Mike. Big fan. Glad you've decided to book your second Christchurch show, not on Great Day.
Not on a great day. What-
Crate day.
Oh, not on Crate Day. Yeah. Oh, last time someone got so drunk they had to get escorted out of the show. Yeah, it was-
In Christchurch?
yeah, but they were a walk-in, so it was the one walk-in. They like were drunk and they were like, I guess this sounds fun. And then like, I don't know if anyone was at that show. Yeah, and if you heard someone fall out of their chair 30 seconds into the show, it was that very drunk woman.
Wow.
And then she like left. It was funny when I was setting up their like the venue was like getting all ready and stuff, and they had like I think they had like a paint drawing design like on the bathroom for Crate Day or something, or it was like Christmas, so they had like Christmas designs, like they were making art with paint pens, so they were actively doing that. And when I was like getting set up, someone like was in the bathroom and fell over, and I thought they had just like fallen over because they were like painting this design and then like got loose or whatever and then fell over, lost their balance. And then when that person like fell out of being drunk and the people afterwards were like, oh yeah, there was that one person who got so drunk she fell out of her chair. That's what that big loud thud was at the beginning of the show. I was like, I think I know who that was.
Wow.
So yeah, I didn't book it on big drinking day. So
Smart.
cool. Instead, I've matched it to where my Auckland show is apparently on big music festival day and no one's going to be there. So cool.
So there's another question from Laura and Liam, and it is, have you been to Hobbiton yet?
So last time we went to Hobbiton, Kelly
Yes.
and I both went. It was very fun and cool. We did the Hobbiton and then also the like glowworm caves, which was super cool. I was more into the glowworm caves. But the Hobbiton thing that I found the most interesting was that the tour guide did a perfect job of describing, because, you know, obviously it's the set. He made all of the magical stuff feel magical, but then all of the movie stuff also feel magical when he's describing like, and this is where the children skip down and have Gandalf shoot off the fireworks. You're like, wow, whimsy. And then at the other parts, he's like, this house is bigger because they filmed Sean Astin in front of it, so they want to make him look small. And like, this one is smaller because they shoot Ian McKellen in front of it. They want to make him look big. And I'm like, wow, whimsy. Like he made both of those sound equally magical. And one is like, here's just how they made the film. And the other one is like fiction. And both of them, I was just like, wow. Like the tour guide was so good. He was genuinely very good. So yes, we did that. And then this time around, Kelly is going to do the What a Workshop thing in Wellington. And then when we're in Auckland, she's going to do like a van tour thing to like a different part. Because we did a couple of them where it's like they put you in a van and they're like, here's where they did this and here's where they do that. She's going to do one of those. Our Christmas gifts to each other is we gave like free days where you can just like do whatever you want and not have to worry about the kid. Mine is surfing day in Wellington. And then hers is go to the Lord of the Rings sets and I take care of the baby alone. And it's a perfect trade.
For the last question, I wanted to find something where we try and make Mike pronounce some of the New Zealand
Oh,
names.
okay. So should I pull this up and try and read them off of this?
So this question, there was only one, and this question comes from the handsome man running the merch table.
Oh, it's you. Did you actually send in an email? So
I
can I
did,
read
yeah.
this? Okay, great. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, so I come from a town on the west coast called Taranaki. You might have heard of the mountain.
Okay.
So there are a bunch of little towns and suburbs and whatever you would call them dotted in and around, and
Yeah.
I put 6 there. I want you to try and pronounce them.
All right,
for me.
let's do this. I will spell the word, try my best, and then how about Lucas, since you sent it in, you tell me the correct pronunciation.
Yeah.
So the first one is Hawera. I would also like to apologize to all of the Maori people, past, present, and future, in case. So I would just guess Hawera.
It is Hawera.
Hawera. Okay, cool. The next one is Opunake. So I would guess like Opunake.
Yeah.
Nice, cool. The next one is Mokau. I would guess Mokau.
Not technically in Taranaki, but it is Moko.
Mako. Okay.
KAU is definitely the O sound.
Oh, okay. The next one is Patea. My instinct is Patea.
Patia?
Patia. Oh, yeah, because it is like Okay. The next one is now we've saved the hardest for the final two. Mangamingi. Mangamingi?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last one is Rawhitiroa, which it feels like a nickname for your country. Like it sounds like it's like, oh, not Aotearoa, Rawtearoa. But I would guess like Rawhitiroa?
I mean, that's better than most of the people that live there.
Okay. Wait, so what, did they pronounce their own name wrong?
They go Rowdy Rowa.
Rowdy Roa? How would you say it?
It is Rafiti Roa.
Well, so there's like an F in there?
No, the WH sound is more like an F sound.
Oh, interesting.
We, in Taranaki, is a specific dialect where we kind of ignore the H. So it is Rawiti Roa. That's just the local iwi. But my family and are the only people who can really pronounce the name properly. And there's like 60 people living there.
There should be a competition where you rank all 60 for who does the best and worst. And they should have it every year and everyone tries to get better.
Well, you're not the worst.
All right, yay, cool. Well, I'll take it. And that is a perfect way to end the show. Thank you all so much for coming out to the show. What a fun time. Oh, this was a blast. Give it up to Stella for being an incredible guest.
Kia ora koutou. Hi, everyone. Mike asked me to give a little summary of my outfit at the live show. I was wearing my bluest blue jeans with an ocean-themed T-shirt, which had a bunch of different sea creatures on it, and my shimmery green Doc Martens, which I like to call my mermaid shoes. Thanks to the audience members at the live show who complimented my outfit. I absolutely love clothes and I had a lot of fun dressing to the Percy Jackson theme. If you're interested in finding me online, I have a website, which is stellareadsandwrites.com, where I share some of my own writing. I'm also on Instagram at stellareadsandwrites, all one word, and I post over there about books and literature and writing and stuff. And if you're more interested in fandom and Percy Jackson stuff specifically, I post most about that over on Tumblr, where you can follow me at stellareadsandwrites once again. Thanks.
Give it up to Lucas for running the merch table and for running Q&A. Give it up to Miguel for helping out with box office in the front. And for everyone here at the team of A Rolling Stone for making this work on short notice, because we were trying to do it at the place we did last time. And then we picked this up and we got the date to work and everything. And Gretchen's been great and Mike's been great on sound. Everyone's awesome. So give it up to everyone here at A Rolling Stone. So thankful to all of them. This has been so much fun. You all have been a lovely crowd. So fun. So glad I could return to Christchurch. This was an absolute blast. I'll have to come back for another show. But until I find my way back to Christchurch, until then, I'll see you later. Thanks so much for coming out, everybody.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of The News Olympian. This podcast is created, hosted, and produced by me, Mike Schubert. I also run the social media and the website. Our editor is Sherry Glow. The music is by Bettina Campamanes and Brendan Krugel, and the art is by Jessica E. Boyd. If you can't get enough of the show, you can go to thenewsolympian.com/Patreon for bonus episodes, bonus content, ad-free episodes, a whole bunch of fun stuff. If you want to interact with the community around the show, you can check out the Discord, which is available to all patrons, or we're on social media. We're at News Olympian on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Twitter. And we've got a subreddit, reddit.com/r/thenewest-olympian. You can also show your love for TNO by getting TNO merch at thenewsolympian.com/merch. Of course, want to give a huge shout out to our producer level patrons, Kelsey Gillespie, Vicky Garcia, Frida Vikstrom, Megan Moon, Polly Burge, Nikki Harris, Tatiana Schmidt, Sandra Rose, Josh Sayer, Sam Ruby, Mrs. O'Leary, Milo Kim, Sandkopf, Rayla Matthews, Sky Mallory, Mick Walters, Grace, Ginger Spursboy, Bradimus Prime, Skylar Sisters, Scott Sheldon, Ann M. Thayer Cohen, Bella, Percy Jackson, Kit Kat Crumbs, Jim Jam Koopy, Andrea, not Andrea, Jordan Ray, Nico's Black, Vespa, Zayden Wintergate, Terry Rothfuzz, Certified Ghost King's emotional support friend, Lee Hartley, Persasabeth, and Alex DeLong. If you want to support the show in a non-monetary way, word of mouth is essential for podcast growth. You can tell a friend directly, say, hey, there's this Percy Jackson podcast I think you would like, check it out. You could leave a rating and review on whatever podcasting app you're using, or you could just talk about the show on social media. All these things really do help. I really appreciate anyone who has done so in the past, and I appreciate anyone who will do so in the future. But I'm just so thankful that you tuned into this episode, and I hope you tune into our next episode, where we'll be joined by Kara Yap to break down chapters 22 through 24 of the House of Hades. But until then, I'll see you later. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's me, ASMR Mix. So in the recent Melbourne live show episode of TNO, I talked about playing cricket with a listener, Megan, before the show. What I didn't mention was that Megan gave the little one a tiny little model cricket bat from the Ashes series, which is one of the tournaments that the national team plays in Australia. And it's this tiny little wooden model cricket bat. I think the point of it is that people get this signed by the players, but it's really cute and adorable. It's just like a mini cricket bat. And I'm going to, do some noise stuff with it. So here's me tapping along the wood of it. Here's me gripping the handle. And here's me kind of like clapping it against my hand. Thank you so much for listening.